Sounded so good.
What if one day you went to your secret hiding place? You know, that spot that only you know about? And instead of what you came for, you found something a little different. What if instead of your private stash, you found a simple phone number, 1-800-662-HELP? What would you do? Would you stop and give it some thought? Would you make the call? The truth is, all drug use comes with risk. Before those risks become real, before drugs turn your life upside down, before drugs take their toll on you and your family, know that there is help. You can quit. If you or someone you love is struggling with drug use or prescription drug misuse, call 1-800-662-HELP for 24-hour free and confidential information and treatment referral, or go to samhsa.gov/thereishelp.
From the Ingalls Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
The pounding begins. The wagons are circled. Every wind is raided. It's football time in America, and this republic has never been stronger. The Sportsocracy, Beer City's best sports talk, live from the Ingalls studio.
And welcome into the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. The Sportsocracy is heard everywhere on the iHeart Radio app. We're seen everywhere on YouTube. Go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link, subscribe to the channel, and that way you can join us in the chat each and every day.
You can also see all of our mock drafts that are coming out one by one just as quick as my little fingers will send them out.
Jeremy's been hard at work trying to get out the 4-round mock drafts.
I'm pretty sure my computer almost caught fire at one point yesterday. Just, no. You're asking me to do things that I'm not opposed to do, and I don't want to.
If you're following along on the YouTube stream, then you got the alert, or you may have seen the premiere of the Carolina Panthers 4-round mock draft that came out before this here program.
And if you didn't see it before the show, just wait for the show to end. You may have to see it again.
Indeed.
We're learning stuff.
So all those coming out on the YouTube stream as we prepare for the big trip next week to Indianapolis.
Old Draftmas tree.
We're still getting our P's and Q's and the itineraries approved by corporate and all that kind of stuff. But
correct.
That is the plan at the moment.
I saw Mommy kissing on Mel Kiper underneath the Draftmas tree on Draftmas Eve.
The Draftmas season in full swing. Today on the program, we're going to talk quarterbacks. Jeremy's going to give us his pre-combine quarterback ranking.
And I promise you over the course of the week, this will probably be the last you hear about quarterbacks. But we're going to try to give you the primer for the combine because you will be able to watch the coverage on NFL Network. You'll also be able to watch the coverage with us. So we're hoping to get a couple of these guys. If not these guys, then the guys know these guys. It may be friends of friends. Who knows? Don't know where we're at on Radio Road, and I'm real loud.
We'll find us a spot somewhere. Even if we
Thanks to the radio guy.
Even if we have to do it from the janitor's closet, that'd be fine.
It's fine.
I think Jim Irsay's office, we could do it in there.
No doubt. The only thing I don't want to do is have to ask dudes that are my size, hey, you want to come back to our hotel room? Because I feel like that would be a really uncomfortable.
No, we're not going to do that.
I don't want to do that.
I'm not going to end up being those guys. Weird.
We got beers back at our hotel room. You want to hang out?
Chris Sims running his mouth again about the most overrated players in the NFL. So today's daily draft is what we're going to do. Jeremy and I's most overrated players in the NFL. Because who was it he called out?
Jalen Hurts.
And
I'm not going to lie to you. He ain't that low on my list. He's not my 1, but he's not my 100 either.
We'll also talk about the toughest jobs in the NFL. We got all the coaching carousel has spun. We know who's going to be taking over what programs, and now comes the decision on who's got the toughest job ahead of them and turning these teams into a contender. All this and more coming your way over the next 3 hours of the program. Did you enjoy the long weekend, Jeremy? Did you get a lot of sportsing done?
Zero.
Zero
that's not true.
sportsing.
I did watch the Monday Daytona 500, and then I remembered why I don't watch those. Because they are nap inducers. I fell asleep with about 40 laps to go. I did love that there was a wreck 6 laps in.
Yes.
Because I'm pretty sure, what's his name? John Hunter Nemechek?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he couldn't drive a greasy peg up a cat's keister. He just kept going, hey, you want to occupy that space? Me too. 2 cars can't be in the same spot at the same time. 3 times that happened yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, you had the big wreck. The big one happened toward the end of the race with about 25, 30 laps left, something like that.
I have always maintained if I was one of these crappy teams that, hey, we only have 2 cars. Awesome. I'm going to qualify 40th. And then I'm going to stay on just the keister end of that longest line. I don't want to pass anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just hanging out.
Just to cause
I'll finish 12th. I'll finish 12th because half of you are going to end up upside down before this is all said and done.
It very well could.
I call that Corey LaJoying.
The thing that kills me about Daytona or about NASCAR in general is more often than not, it seems like the dudes who cause the crash never end up being the ones that get caught with it. Like Alex Bowman caused the crash right there at the end of the race. And then him and Alex Bowman, or him and William Byron go on to finish first and second in the race. And they're the ones that caused the damn wreck to begin with.
Well, that's when somebody that can actually drive causes a wreck. Sometimes we have too many people in these races. Maybe we should cut that down to 32 because there ain't 40 people that should be on that track. Looking at you, Mr. Nemechek. Lake Speed.
Yeah.
Never should have been there either.
Nope.
Dick Trickle. Greatest name in all of sports.
William Byron winning the Daytona 500, though, kicking off the NASCAR season with controversy as they went spinning across the finish line on the last lap. And when that final lap flag comes out and there's a wreck, field freezes, race is over. I know there were some people who were a tidbit upset that that's how the race ended.
Well, but NASCAR has this problem. Okay, South Park explained this perfectly. Here are your rules. I go fast, turn left sometimes. That's the only rule you need. Stop with stages and stage points and all this other crap. We got 200 laps. We're going to go fast and turn left sometimes. That's it. No more. Don't need any of these little intricate rules. We're going to go in circles. And when we go enough circles, then it's going to be over. Whoever hits that little checkered line first, after so many circles, they win.
Mm-hmm. The NBA All-Star Game was also this weekend. Anybody give that 10 seconds of your eyeballs? Because I knew better. And then when I saw the final score, I went, and that's why I didn't watch. What was it, 397 points got scored?
211 to 1 something. It was a whole lot to almost as much.
Ugh.
It's awful.
Stop it.
It's
Just
awful.
Stop it. We'll talk about that.
Don't worry. If you hate the NBA, we're going to spend like 10 minutes later just bashing it sideways and then not talk about it again.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, let's get into it. Toughest jobs ahead of them in the 2024 NFL season. We've ranked all of these jobs before. The worst of the jobs, I think we came to a consensus that it is the New England Patriots or the Carolina Panthers.
I don't think the Panthers are as bad as New England. This whole Jerrod Mayo thing to me has that feeling of Bill Guthridge or Matt Doherty or whichever example you want of the guy that replaces the guy. And then 20 years from now, you go, oh, yeah, he was the coach for like 3 years. Ooh, that was bad. Ooh, that was terrible. And then we got a coach that wasn't awful. And it's not that I think Jerrod Mayo is a bad coach. This may be the worst situation I've ever seen a coach put into. In our YouTube chat, Tyson Carter asked us our thoughts about the Patriots signing Russell Wilson, getting a receiver like Hollywood Brown or Gabe Davis, and then drafting Marvin Harrison Jr. I think there's a merit to drafting Marvin Harrison Jr. because I look at two teams up here the exact same way. The Washington Commanders and the New England Patriots. Mm-hmm. If you draft a quarterback and put them in that dog piddle situation that you have right now, you're going to break them. Period. And I don't know who needs to hear this. I don't know why they need to hear this. Let me explain this to you as clearly as I can. There's not a no-doubter quarterback in this class. Whether it's Caleb Williams, Drake Maye, Jayden Daniels, all of them have great big, but one of them wears a lot of nail polish and needs his mommy to comfort him when he woozes. Another one I think is half of me. I believe I outweigh Jayden Daniels by how much Jayden Daniels weighs. And then the safest one of the bunch is Drake Maye. And as affiliates of the Carolina Tar Heels, I will tell you that saying that out loud makes me want to laugh a whole mess. Because anytime you thought he would be good, he was bad. And anytime you thought he would be bad, he was good. And that made blood come out of my ears for 2 solid years. His good, great. Great. But take the lesson from the Carolina Panthers. That's what I'm saying with Washington. That's what I'm saying with New England. Learn a book. Learn the lesson. Carolina puts Bryce Young, and yes, it took a trade up, which it doesn't require with you. I get that. The line was terrible. The receivers were terrible. And 1 year in, you have shattered this kid's confidence. You had to specifically go hire a coach to rectify his confidence because you got Frank Reich fired because it was that bad. And my question would be, do you think this would have been better a year ago with Dave Canales? Because I don't.
No.
I don't think there's a coach on this planet that could have pulled Carolina out of the doldrums that they were stuck in after I saw it. As soon as I saw them in the preseason, and look, they played the Jets. I was in the building for it. I remember looking at Mullet Sr. and just going, this team looks so out of sorts that it is pathetic. Because he had asked me, you do this a lot. I don't. Do you see teams in the preseason look like this? No, I don't. The line has no clue what they're doing. You had 1+ lineman the entire year, and you stuck Bryce Young behind that. And if you told me he never came out of this, I wouldn't be shocked. I've read this book. This is exactly what happened to David Carr. You put him behind a god-awful offensive line. He got in his head. He developed a case of the yips. He started holding on to the ball too long, and then it didn't matter what you put around him. He was broken. It was a broken toy. I feel like the Washington situation is not as bad as Carolina. The line is as bad. The line may be worse.
I think the line's worse.
The New England situation, if you don't bring back Michael Onwenu, that line's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. And you have no weapons whatsoever. Your best weapon is Ramondre Stevenson. I'll wait. You name me the quarterback that you've ever put into a situation like that, and it's been successful. And I'll give you 5 years. Name me the time that's ever worked. Now, if you sit them the way that Green Bay did with Jordan Love, okay. You can sit them behind Aaron Rodgers and wait for things to figure themselves out. The problem is you're not doing that with Drake Maye.
No.
You're not doing that with Jayden Daniels.
No, you can't do that.
In Washington, you have a guy that you could at least sit him behind. It's going to create a whole lot of problems. But you could do it if that's what you chose to do. New England, you don't have anybody. You need Bailey Zappi out of that building. You need Mac Jones out of that building. You need a fresh face at quarterback. And I keep coming to the idea, would it be the worst idea to make a deal on Justin Fields? If you're new, just take the journey with me.
Mm-hmm.
You're sitting at 3. You know you could get a king's ransom for that pick from the Raiders or any of these teams that are looking for a quarterback, because there's going to be that one there at 3. There are 3 quarterbacks. There's 3 picks. If you made the move on Fields, you added one of the receivers. So say you go back to 13. You add the player that falls there, and then you just accumulate receiver talent down through the – does that not feel better and look better than, hey, we've got Jayden Daniels, and he's throwing to Tank Spencer, Demario Douglas, some guy that used to work for FedEx, and I think the guy that collected my garbage this morning. Sweet.
But can you get away with doing that? Do you have the cachet?
In
to do
Washington?
that.
No.
No, I'm talking about New England.
In New England, I look, and this is, I'm going to say nice things. I am. Patriot fans, as fans, to us as non-fans, are some of the most delusional fans in the world. When it comes to really looking at what they have, I don't think they're that delusional at this point. I think they crashed and burned with Bill Belichick, and now they're looking around going, I don't want to do this again because this sucks.
Mm-hmm.
As a Jet fan, welcome. First time? You new here? Because it doesn't get any better.
How do you make that? How do you make that resolve in your head as a Patriots fan who is used to decades of winning? Now,
well, because you have
now,
to break that mold. Nobody's good forever. They're not. And if they are good forever, they're non-competitive for Super Bowls.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the way it works.
Mm-hmm.
You almost have to crash and burn before you fly. Look at the Kansas City Chiefs. Before Andy Reid, afterthought. In large part, they'd been an afterthought for years and years and years and years. Yeah, they'd have the stray AFC Championship game appearance.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a lot more Joe Montana, Elvis Gerbach,
Trent Green.
Oh, Trent Green. Rams signed him to $1 billion deal. 4 seconds later, blows out knee. Chiefs go, we want him. We need anything we can have.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the mindset that gets you into this just absolute doldrums of, well, the best we can do is go 9-8, and the worst we could do is draft a quarterback this high and be looking for another one 3 years from now. That is called New York jetting, because they've done it 100 times. Yeah, we get it. You're new here. We get it. You don't understand what it is that you're getting ready to do because you had Tom Brady for 21 years. Tom's gone. That is a woe-begotten era. You might as well be telling me how much you like Steve Grogan at this point because that's where I'm at. They mean exactly the same amount. I'm not sure Jerrod Mayo wasn't brought in here to be the sacrificial lamb because I'm not sure who else would have taken this job. I said this from the jump. If I got options, you save the collect phone call, bruh, because I ain't answering it. I'm not, if I was Ben Johnson or Bobby Slowick, I'm not walking into this situation where my best weapon under contract is a 6th-round wide receiver and 2 is Ramondre Stevenson.
Did they even do that, though? Did they even kick the tires on anybody else?
I don't think so.
I don't think they did either.
I don't think they did.
Because it's the loyalty of Robert Kraft.
Well, you keep saying it's the loyalty.
Yes.
I have a different take on that.
Okay.
I don't necessarily think it's loyalty. You keep saying that of, he told him he was going to get the job. If he didn't think he was the guy, he wouldn't be the guy. Bobby Kraft is in his 70s. Mm-hmm. He's not hiring a guy just because I told him I would. You know who does that? Losers. Well, I said I'd do it, so even though it's really stupid now, I'm just going to continue to do it because my word is my bond. Screw your word, okay? If you weren't the guy, you wouldn't be the guy because I'm cinching close into death, and I really don't want to be terrible until I die, so sorry I ain't wasting 3 years because I gave you my word. Now, what makes more sense is I'm going to do something that's really unpopular with the fan base. Jerrod clings to a better era of the Tom Brady era, and maybe he gets a little pass that the average coach wouldn't get because, yeah, you do expect to be winners. You're not going to be. I don't care if prime Bill Belichick came in here with Bill Parcells and Bill Walsh. If you win 5 games next year, it will be a small act of God. And the more I've thought about this, the more I think this is Robert Kraft not being loyal. This is him being smart. I have to posture this in some way because this is a completely different mold than we've had in the last 20-plus years. It's no longer the autocracy of Bill Belichick. Now we got Elliott Wolf and all these guys that we're going to have to endear them to you. And the way we do that's by letting them do their job. And I'm going to be honest with you. If they're doing their job, that pick ain't going to be a quarterback. It's just not. I just did their mock draft. I gave him Marvin Harrison Jr. at 3 and Michael Penix with the 3rd pick in the 2nd round. I walked away from that a lot happier than I did with Jayden Daniels and whichever receiver you could possibly have that falls there. And it was Xavier Worthy a lot.
Mm-hmm.
One of them's way better than the other. I got a vet kid coming in this way. that can come in here and endure the doldrums. Am I telling you he's a franchise quarterback? No, I'm not. If he was, he wouldn't be there in the second round.
What do you think of his idea of getting Russ?
We got to take a break. I want to put a pin in that because I've heard a lot of things like this, and I'm not singling out this one idea. There's just something that I feel like there's something that people need to hear, and it's not that it's the magnification of the way we look at things. There's an element of this you got to remember, and I feel like people are losing sight of that.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is CSPN Asheville.
Did you know Discover wants everyone to feel special? That's why with your Discover card, you have access to 24/7 customer service, as well as $0 fraud liability, which means you're never held responsible for unauthorized purchases. Learn more at discover.com/creditcard. Limitations apply.
Sick and tired of achy joints? Dread the idea of surgery? You need to call QC Kinetics today. Listen, the state of healthcare is always changing. The old ideas like steroids and surgery are no longer your only options. Regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics is transforming lives with innovative, non-surgical, drug-free treatments that deliver lasting results. Knee pain, back pain, shoulder pain from arthritis or injury? Don't let this pain keep you from living your best life. QC Kinetics advanced state-of-the-art treatments harness and direct your body's natural ability to restore and repair damaged joint tissue. This is a revolutionary approach that can get you long-term relief with no downtime. Make 2024 the year you reclaim your mobility, reclaim your independence. Walk and run and play and live without the danger and trauma of surgery and without harmful drugs. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. Phone 828-333-9517 in Asheville and in Greenville.
And now another no-brainer money-saving tip from Progressive.
That doesn't sound good.
Paper shredder's jammed, but I think I fixed it.
Oh, well, try shredding these $50 bills then.
Seems like it's working.
Better try another $400.
Stop. Instead of using money, use regular paper. And here's a better tip from Progressive on how not to waste money. Don't pay too much for car insurance. Drivers who switch and save could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics have teamed up under new ownership by an Asheville native to better serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at the best price. Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics can customize whatever you, your team, business, or local group may need through high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving right here in Asheville. Free personal delivery within Buncombe County and a reduced delivery fee anywhere in western North Carolina. Visit ShowtimeSportsAVL.com and MountainGraphicsAVL.com. Your one-stop custom apparel shops.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at ClarissaSellsWNC.com. And did I mention that Clarissa Sells WNC loves teachers? We love teachers so much, we're giving back 25% of our commission at closing. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or ClarissaSellsWNC@gmail.com.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
The best season of the year is here.
Tailgate season.
Monster Brewing presents this season's MVP,
The Beast Unleashed.
with 4 bold, familiar flavors.
With 0 caffeine and 0 sugar.
Beast Unleashed is your new pregame ritual.
With white haze, mean green, peach perfect, and scary berries, there's a flavor for every fan. The Beast Unleashed.
6% alcohol by volume. Unleashed responsibly. Must be 21 or over. Beast Unleashed available at your local retailer.
The Sportsocracy.
Let's open up the whole can and kick ass and kill them all. Let the paramedics sort them out.
It's ESPN Asheville. You're in the Sportsocracy, and Jeremy choosing violence today. Man, just getting angry at Robert Kraft.
Everybody thinks I'm so angry. Now, I might be a little sleep deprived because I did take a NASCAR nap. That came to an unpoetic end at about midnight, and that was the end of my night-night.
Yeah.
It's the first time you'll ever see me where I've been awake longer than Tank has.
That's aggressive.
He gets a 2:30 wake-up call every day.
Yes.
I've been up since midnight, and I'm starting to get A little sleepy.
I was going to say, I'm feeling a little run down. I can only imagine.
Well, I mean,
where
that's
you're
why
at right
that's
now.
why I live off Monster. That's why if the caffeine intake goes down, I always say I run off 4 things: nicotine, protein, alcohol, anger.
All right. Jerrod Mayo was the choice of the New England Patriots to be their new head coach to take over for Bill Belichick. It was promised to him. He was decided to be the guy before Bill left. And yes, it was a loyalty thing that they gave it to him. I'm not saying he wasn't the right guy for the job. You believed he was the right guy for the job, and you still do. Nothing has changed to make you believe that he's not the guy to follow Bill.
No, it's changed for me because I see no path that this is going to go well. None.
But that's also part of the problem with this job is that the expectations are so high, or should be. We feel like they should be. For Patriots fans, the bar can't be any higher. You should have the highest expectations among anybody.
No, you shouldn't, because the roster's not that good. Stop worrying about what you did 3 years ago. That's where
the problem.
That's where the stupidity of
nobody
fans
gets
comes
that
in.
Far.
Smart fans do, and there's way more of those than you think. Anybody that thinks that Jerrod Mayo is bringing back some woebegone age of Tom Brady, and that ain't happening. And if you believe that, you need to go see somebody in a nut house, and they need to fit you for a jacket where you can't harm yourself because you're out of your damn mind. Think anybody knows what this is. We're putting the guy in place that's going to get more latitude than anybody else would. That's it. Now, to what Tyson Carter said about bringing in Russell Wilson, the thing you have to remember about guys like Russell Wilson, they have a say in where they go. New England needs a guy that has no say in where he goes. You need to be the retribution project, the reclamation project, the diminished asset that you can rehab because they're going to get all the latitude in the world, and that's not Russell Wilson. Yeah, it went badly in Denver. There's also a lot of he signed up for Nathaniel Hackett. That went terribly. He didn't sign up for Sean Payton. That also went terribly, but it went less terribly. And he didn't turn the ball over much. And now you're looking at teams like the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Atlanta Falcons, the Las Vegas Raiders going, well, they're right there in prime playoff contention, and that might be the best they could do. And that's my problem with Russell Wilson. He's not signing up for New England until all those other dominoes are filled. If I'm New England, I want to identify the guy that I believe in and make him feel like a priority. That, to me, is why it's Jimmy Garoppolo. I think you can win with Jimmy Garoppolo. Are you going to make the playoffs? No. Unless you're digging Joe Montana, prime Joe Montana, out of some sarcophagus somewhere, you ain't going to the playoffs anyway. This roster is horrifically bad, and it's going to be for 2 or 3 years because you let Bill run you into the ground. Any guy that's been the worst drafter in the NFL for 12 years, if you give them that much latitude, just sit back and wait and see what the roster looks like. Your best players are all on expensive deals outside of DeMario Douglas. Name me the player that you've really hit on over the last few years. You see how hard that is?
Ramondre's about the best one.
And that's a running back, which is one step above saying, we have a really good punter. Sweet. You're going to need him. For me, the toughest job in this league is Jerrod Mayo, and it's not even close.
I would agree.
And there's so much distance between him, I don't even want to put anybody at 2. I think Mayo should, as I often say, 1 and 2. But then the question would be, who's next? Because for me, that's every bit as clear as it is with who's 1.
Really?
It's Dan Quinn, and it's not even close. Because in Washington, you were promised all of these grandiose things. All of the grandeur. Ben Johnson or Bobby Slowick, and where it's going to be a new era. And what did you get? You got Dan Quinn. That is the definition of when you were 8 years old saying, Mommy, can we stop at McDonald's? We got McDonald's at home, and you got a Bubba Burger on white bread, bro. Because that's what Dan Quinn is. And then you doubled down on it of, well, if we can make it feel like McDonald's, and you brought in a creepy clown and his name's Cliff Kingsbury. If I had $1 for every, so we did the Washington mock draft because we're doing this in draft order. Carolina was out of order, but we're Carolina affiliates, so I tried to fix it in wherever we could get it.
Oh, they should have the number 1 pick. So.
Well, they should, but they don't. So there's that. When I did the Washington mock draft, basically what I said is that there are going to be teams that are in love with Jayden Daniels. There are going to be teams that are in love with Drake Maye. So Washington is in this prime scenario. I traded down to 13 with the Raiders. I bet you we got 100 comments of, I'd like it better if we traded down with Atlanta. I'm sure you would. They ain't trading up with you. They learned this the hard way in their own division. They're looking at Carolina going, I don't think I want to do that. That doesn't look like fun, even not nary a little bit. And their roster is so far ahead of Carolina's that it's pathetic, but they still have holes. Do you know what it would cost to get up from 8 to 2?
No.
First round of this year, first round of next year, second round of this year, second round of next year. If I'm Atlanta, I'm out.
No.
I'm out. I can go get Justin Fields for 2 2s. And am I saying that there's not a huge difference between Drake Maye and Justin Fields on the field? Not necessarily. Not necessarily.
You're going to get much more out of one than the other right away anyway, I would think.
I don't know. Maye depends on the situation. I just don't look at Atlanta. I mean, there were people telling me, well, they could give up Kyle Pitts. Why the hell would I do that? Why am I bringing in a quarterback here to throw to Drake London and nobody else? It doesn't make any sense.
And the Hayden Hurst.
That's the thing about trade offers. Trade offers are a lot like prom dates. I wanted to go to prom with the head cheerleader. She didn't want to go to prom with me because she had better options. She could have swung a dead cat and had 5 better options than me, which is why when I asked, she went, no. Which is probably why I'm as angry as I am now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So you think because of the expectations, because of what the fan base was promised, that makes the Dan Quinn job that much harder?
The Dan Quinn job is hard because I feel like the answer to what you do is so unabashedly obvious, and at least half of your fan base is going to push back on it. There is nothing on this planet that teams that have just gone through horrific seasons like Washington did love more than flawed quarterbacks. NFL fans that just had 4 win seasons, they become like dumb dudes in new relationships. We've all met this guy. Brings the girlfriend's cute. But every third word out of her mouth, you go, is that not a red flag to anybody but me? This is my pet boa constrictor. His name is Bubbles.
Ruh-roh.
Uh-oh. I just got this tattoo. It's a dagger, and it has my ex-husband's name in it. Oh, no. She's going to kill George. Mm-hmm. Oh, God, she's going to kill George. This is the same thing that NFL fans do. Washington's a perfect example. Your line is terrible. You have 3 receivers, the tallest of which is 6 foot tall. You have no tight end. You have no running backs. So basically, you're throwing a quarterback in the most unbelievably god-awful scenario I could put them into. And none of that matters. I had people just absolutely saying horrid things to me, which is fine. I have a smoking hot wife and I talk about sports for a living. You're not going to hurt my sensibilities. However, your comments do kind of put me into this, well, that's where the fan base is. Because when it's 90% one way, okay, you got a problem. And Washington has a problem. The answer is hold on to Sam Howell. Don't play the quarterback roulette. Give him another year. Build out the roster. See what you have in Sam Howell, because here's the part that you don't want to hear and the part that I'm happy to tell you because I'm not a fan of your team. If it ain't Sam Howell, I'm going to know it in 17 more games. If I give him a high-level left tackle, another offensive lineman with one of those extra picks you got, another running back, another tight end, I build all these things out, and Sam Howell looks like he did last year, cool. You're right. He's not the franchise. The problem is when you use your best piece of capital to get that quarterback's getting the same thing Sam Howell did. Well, Sam Howell was awful. You don't think Caleb Williams will be? Go back and watch that Notre Dame tape and tell me how much better he is than Sam Howell. I'll wait. Drake Maye, go back and watch that NC State film. Take Miami and put that on the shelf. Look at those last 4 games of Drake Maye and tell me you see no doubter right there. Oh, and Jayden Daniels played in a non-NFL system. I'm not even sure he knows how to call an NFL system. Because he spent 5 years in college and never played in one pro-style NFL offense. He's played the vast majority of snaps he's ever taken, and I don't remember the percentage, were out of shotgun. I'm not even sure the kid knows how to take a snap from under center. It's a work in progress, and you're giving him nothing. You know how many times I've read this book? Joey Harrington. Joey Harrington was the same thing, and I got news for you. He was a better prospect than any of the 3 I just said.
The problem is with both of these teams, with New England and with Washington, do you think there's a great chance that either of them are going to just stand back and go, you know what, we'll let somebody else make the quarterback mistake? Because I don't. I honestly believe it is going to go 1, 2, 3, quarterback, and
I don't.
This is where you're at.
I don't. I'll tell you why. There's no consensus on the quarterbacks. None. It's one thing when you have Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance. Because we did have consensus there. Every team in the NFL, they may not tell you this. I know this definitively. Every team in the NFL, 1, 2, 3. That's how it went. That's how it went. 1, because he's the generational prospect. The other 2, because they have way higher upside than the other 2. Mac Jones was 5 for every single one of them. All of them, except apparently the GM and or the head coach, in San Francisco. And Justin Fields was the weird 4 outlier. Because, yeah, he's got the upside, but he has a floor that is absolutely terrifying. Mm-hmm. You don't have that here. When I was in Mobile, I talked to 10 different people that do exactly what we do. Hey, rank the top 5 quarterbacks for me. You know how many different orders I got?
Bunch.
6. That doesn't sound like much until you realize that we're all at the point that we've sorted out the quarterbacks because they don't do anything at the combine that's really going to change our mind. Most of them don't run. If they do run, they're going to run somewhere between a 4.6 and a 4.8. Unless you run way faster than that or way slower than that, nothing you do is going to change that. That's why we all put quarterback rankings out first. Because there's no fear that Jayden Daniels is going to show up and run a 4.29. And all of a sudden go Tyquan Thornton and go, oh, well, this 5th-round prospect is now a 2nd-round prospect. Mm-hmm. We're not going to do that. We're just not. If there was consensus among the quarterbacks, I get it. But you're getting the same flawed prospect that you would have gotten in 2021. I've already told you, I think that's the most flawed, busty draft class in the history of the NFL. And all we're doing is lathering up and doing it again. Mm-hmm. Because we have 3 lottery tickets, 1 that's overvalued. And just tell me where you start to see the similarities here. We got 1, quote, generational prospect who's been surrounded by talent, just picked apart mediocre competition, and people view him as something he's not. Then we have 2 lottery tickets that I've seen really good. I've also seen really bad. And if you go to the wrong situation, you are DED dead. Then there's a couple guys that are the loyal, long-time starter, and the last year that they played is exponentially better than anything else I ever saw them do. It's the same class. This is how the NFL works. It's really just on a great big rotation. You know why we always talk about the 83 draft? Because it's the last time we had this many quarterbacks, and none of them were super busts outside of Todd Blackledge. All of them were good. Every other class like this, there's been a horrific, ungodly, out-of-this-world biggest bust we've seen in 20 years. 2 more that were nowhere near worth first-round picks. 1 that was fine but not great, and 1 that was good but didn't even live up to the expectations. And that's almost always been the first pick. I'm good. I have the 3 worst rosters in the league. 1, 2, 3. Chicago, they're a year ahead. Because they had the number 1 pick last year. Traded out. Look at where they're at now. Washington, New England. Just look at the 2 sides of that trade. 1 team had the number 1 pick, traded out because they knew they were nowhere close to being competitive to a Super Bowl. The other thought they were, jumped in line, traded up to get a quarterback. Which one would you rather be right now? The Carolina Panthers or the Chicago Bears?
Chicago Bears.
That's what I thought.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
With sunshine today and a light breeze up from the south and southeast, the high should approach 54. The temperatures will cool quickly tonight with a clear sky, light winds, and an overnight low eventually dropping down to 29. The high tomorrow near 59 under sunshine. A little bit warmer for Thursday with an increase in cloud cover to high of 64. Showers will pop up on Thursday night and then taper off early on Friday, and then a clearing trend for Friday afternoon with a high in the mid-50s. I'm Jeff Marr from the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by KFC. KFC's new Smashed Potato Bowl is here. Fries, mashed potatoes, cheese, and bacon come together to make a smashable snack that's only $3.49. It's finger-licking good.
When you wake up well-rested on a great mattress, everything becomes clear.
I do overthink everything.
Things you missed when you were tired finally reveal themselves.
I should just get fake plants.
It's the President's Day sale at Mattress Firm. Get a king bed for a queen price. Save up to $700, plus a free adjustable base with select Sealy mattresses. See a lower price? We'll match it. The right mattress matters. We'll find yours. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
COVID-19? I don't want to risk missing work. I booked an appointment for this season's updated COVID-19 shot designed to help protect against recent variants. Learn about a vaccine option and book your COVID-19 shot on schedulecovidvax.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Get ready for our 2024 iHeart Podcast Awards, presented by The Hartford, live at South by Southwest. March 11th, we'll honor the very best in podcasting from the past year, and you'll help decide who wins Podcast of the Year. Vote now at iHeartPodcastAwards.com.
Audible is a proud sponsor of the Audible Audio Pioneer Award. Discover the best selection of audiobooks anywhere, plus binge-worthy podcasts and exclusive Audible originals. There's more to imagine when you listen. Try Audible for free when you sign up at audible.com.
The Ingles 2024 Southern Conference Downtown Dribble and Kids Fest, presented by Champion Credit Union, will be held Saturday, March 9th, 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. at the Roger McGuire Green at Pack Square Park. The Downtown Dribble will feature interactive games, inflatables, pep bands, cheerleaders, and a parade. Each participant will receive a basketball, Downtown Dribble t-shirt, and a ticket to the noon session quarterfinal basketball games. Check-in will begin at 9:30 a.m. at Roger McGuire Green. To register, visit downtowndribble.eventbrite.com.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. Download our free app on Google Play or the App Store. Type in Asheville Home Search. You'll be able to connect with our team and see all the available homes for sale in our area. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
We are back in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, and let's go to college basketball. Know you're locked into the season there, Jeremy?
We can wager at March 11th. So that's when I'll be really locked in.
That is true. The big day is coming up. We'll tell you more about that in just a little bit. But Rick Pitino, he's coaching at St. John's, if you have been under a rock for the last little bit here.
Oh, it's easy to forget because that team's been super forgettable.
No, I mean, they're not very good. And
they're 14-11?
Yes.
And on the bubble.
Yes.
Which should tell you everything about the bubble that you need to know.
They started the season okay, and then once they got into Big East play, they have just been getting matered left and right. They had a big lead over the weekend, ended up losing a game to Seton Hall, 68-62, and that led Rick Pitino to have these comments following the game.
We are so non-athletic that we can't guard anybody without fouling, and really it's not about losing. Because even in winning, when we watch the film, I see unathletic plays. I see people that don't handle the ball, that's just interested in taking quick shots. So it's been a disappointing year.
If you had to do it over again, would you have attacked your first offseason differently?
I had no choice. We just could take who we could get, who was available. We had no choice. I don't think we were going to win the first year anyway, because when you rush like that and you don't see the players and you just not a whole lot we can do. But it's I think I've enjoyed even the Celtics when we lost. I've enjoyed every minute being the Boston Celtic coach. Didn't like the fact that we lost in that following year, but this has been the most unenjoyable experience I've had.
So the most unenjoyable experience he had, he continued to go on and say how bad his team was. He went through the press conference calling out dudes by name, saying so-and-so's too slow and so-and-so can't get after a rebound, and calling his players out and talking about the facilities at St. John's and how expletive they are. Poopy. He said they're very poopy in their facilities and that they needed to pour more into that. Talked about the NIL and all that. End all be all, Rick Pitino is really ticked off at the fact that his team is terrible. They've paid all this NIL money for this talent that can't play his scheme. He calls out his assistant coaches for not putting the right players on the court that match his scheme. Okay. Rick Pitino is an all-time great coach. There's no disputing that. No one's going to dispute that.
He is close to the Mount Rushmore of college basketball coaches all time.
Close. I have a major problem with this because what? You wouldn't have a problem with your coach doing this. With your coach going up in the post-game press conference saying, all the 12 guys I got in there suck, and all of them just need to get the hell out of here, because that's exactly what he just said.
As a player, would I have a problem with it? Maybe. I had a problem.
Maybe.
I had a problem with a lot of things as a player.
Uh-huh.
As a former coach and now guy that talks about this for a living, I only have one response to what Rick Pitino said, and that is, let's go, Rick Pitino.
Oh, my gosh.
And you know why? It's a real simple explanation.
Why is that?
You lost the ability for me to treat you with kid gloves the minute you went to the Supreme Court and forced us to pay you. You're laughing. I tried to tell you this when it happened.
Uh-huh.
If you think that this student-athlete kid gloves, well, our kids really just wait till the schools are paying them millions of dollars. Just wait. You'll see it. This is the first example of it.
Mm-hmm.
When you're cashing that check, you're not a student-athlete anymore. Now you're an employee.
Mm-hmm.
And if, as an employee, let me just give you I'll draw an analogy because I'm an analogyman and I like analogies. If you showed up every day hammered drunk and wanted to produce Mark Starling's show and this show, how long do you think it takes before Mark Starling and I have a serious come to Jesus? And how likely is it that it's done through this microphone? The come to Jesus would happen in a series of days.
Yeah.
And if it kept happening, there's a great chance that at some point we'd go, hey, the show doesn't suck because we are terrible. It's because old Gary Busey over here can't stop hitting the sauce at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the case. It's just an analogy I made.
Mm.
Sorry, you wanted to be adults. Welcome to the real world. Sometimes the boss calls you in his office and says things that aren't particularly nice.
Sure.
Because that's how big boy life works.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes the boss does do that. The boss doesn't take out a full ad page in the paper the next day and say, all my guys suck.
Sometimes they do.
Nah.
Sometimes they do it with a jobs available soon. Apply now to get first in line, which is exactly what Rick Pitino just did.
I don't see how you can get behind this. He's supposed to be the leader of a team, and the leader of a team does not do this. You don't call your guys onto the carpet in public like that. How are you supposed to be able to field how do you expect to field a legitimate team for the rest of the season? You think this is the motivator, especially for 18 and 19-year-old kids that they need. Yeah, this is really going to galvanize that squad. No, the one thing this is going to do is turn that entire team against you.
That's the point.
Oh.
I want you out.
So, okay.
I want you to go.
Then not a nary recruit I would ever send your way again. If I'm an agent, if I'm whoever, I ain't sending nobody to play for you.
I don't need
again.
you to send anybody to me.
Okay.
I'm Rick Pitino.
Yeah,
I don't need
nobody
you.
Nobody cares.
Oh, that's not true at all.
Really? 18, 19-year-old kids do not care who Rick
18,
Pitino
19-year-old kids care about where the paycheck's coming from. Oh, that guy's got national title rings? Cool. Is it better to play for Rick Pitino or, let's just go through the dog water conference he's in? Ed Cooley, whoever's coaching DePaul, whoever's coaching Butler, whoever's coaching Xavier, or Rick Pitino. Which one do you think is going to land recruits? Because I'll go ahead and tell you, I already know the answer to it. The guy that shows up with national title rings and goes, hey, you want some of these? Because I've proven for 40 years I can do it. I coached in the NBA, and I can get you there. It's undefeated. There's a reason that every one of these coaches that does this is still successful because they can do all this. Bob Knight was the biggest jackass on the planet. It worked until about, 14 years ago?
I was going to say.
He was still winning games at Texas Tech.
Oh, well, yeah, I guess he was.
He wasn't winning at a high level, not because he didn't have players, but because his system was so antiquated that it was so easy to defend. Rick Pitino is one of the 6 best college basketball coaches today. He'll still get players. He'll be just fine.
Okay.
Oh, and by the way, he's now in New York City. Oh, you know, it's funny. I saw him close to this one time before. That worked pretty well. Yeah, he was in the ballpark at Providence. And you know what he recruited a lot of? New York City kids.
Yeah.
Go back and look at those Providence teams. They were real, real good. Name of the game hasn't changed that much. You know why? Because college basketball can't keep a coach to save their lives. Look at the ACC. Florida State is bereft of talent. They have nothing. They're still winning games and still challenging high-level teams. You know why? Because Leonard Hamilton has nowhere else to go. Great coach. That's all I need. Give me a player that can score. Give me a couple guys that can rebound. And that's all Pitino's screaming for here. This was positioning to recruits. Hey, I haven't lost it. These guys are just bums, and this is what I was stuck with.
Okay.
Why else would he say
Good luck.
it?
Good luck to you.
Oh, it'll work, and you know it'll work.
Oh, I very highly doubt it. I very highly doubt
all right,
it.
look, go ahead. Explain to me why. Explain to me why you say that.
Because I don't believe that teenagers are going to sign up to play for him after this. I mean, you'll get some. He will get something.
I don't need many.
He'll never get a championship team out of this.
He was never winning a championship at St. John's anyway.
I'll say he'll never even compete for a championship.
He was never
going to
compete.
He's there.
He was never going to compete for a championship at St. John's anyway.
Then why do this?
Because I'd like to be good.
If the goal's not to win, then why blast your players like
Because
this?
I'd like to be good. Because I'd like to be good. And he can be good. You can't beat UConns and North Carolinas and Dukes. They're throwing way more money at this than you have. Their facilities are light years better than yours. You're not going to beat them. You're just not. But you're telling me, this won't work. Let me ask you a question about Rick Pitino. Since 2001, how many times has he not won 20 games?
Oh, twice.
It's
maybe.
twice. You know what both those years have in common?
What's that?
It was his first year at the program. Then he went 25, 20, 33, 21, 24, 27, 31, 25, 30, 35, 25, 27. That was at Iona. He's going to win. He's going to win, period. Oh, we do that. They got your feelings hurt. Did he say ugly things about him at St. John's? Watch that team play. You'll understand why he said it. There is no effort whatsoever. There is no buy-in. Because I'll be honest with you, I went back and watched a little bit after I heard this because I had a funny feeling this was going to be your take. I've seen high school teams that are better than that.
How's that not on him?
I can't make you run. I can put you in a position. I can't make your I about said something bad right there. I can't make your lazy keister run. I mean, unless I got a blowtorch and I can put it to the back of your.
But is that not part of what is supposed to be a great coach? Is somebody who can motivate people, who can get you to play by his
I'm going to
rules,
say this as nicely as I can.
Who can possibly, I don't know, go back and change his game plan to fit the team.
I don't change my game plan. And I'm going to say this as nicely as I can. What you just said was basically a billboard of I've never coached a soul in my life. Because I have. And I'll tell you, there are some people, you can scream at them, you can coddle them, you can love them, you can pat them on the head and call them George. Nothing is going to make them do what you want them to do. It's not. And that's what he's coming up against. And he's sick of it. All of you, get out. And I won't be shocked if he starts revoking scholarships, which is much harder to do than people think.
Yep.
But, I mean, I'll just tell you, in the limited amount that I was able to find readily, because I don't subscribe to Big East basketball communications, so they don't send me coaches tape, there were times that I went, God, I've had players just like that. I've had players just like that because I can just see it. You're not bought in. It's not my fault you didn't buy in. I mean, because what I would say to what you just said, I got a group of 18, 19-year-old entitled brats, and you can watch them on the court and see that that's exactly what they are. Meanwhile, I've got a coach that's been doing this since, before I was born. And he's succeeded everywhere he's gone, and now he's got a team that looks like they couldn't care less. Yeah, I'm going to say that's not on him. I'm not going to say he doesn't have some responsibility, and there's probably some things he would have done differently. But if you told me one of these things was going to succeed in 12 months, and it was the players at St. John's or Rick Pitino, I'll bet my house, my ability to have fun for the rest of my life, everything we've accumulated here, my cars, my jewelry, everything I've got, I'll put it to the middle of the table on Rick Pitino.
You're in the Sportsocracy, the ESPN Asheville. If he's willing to give up on this group, though, what's to keep him from giving up on the next group? It's just a bad look. It's just a bad look, in my opinion. We got to take a break. Top of the hour is on the way.
The madness begins in Asheville. Make sure you're at the Harris Cherokee Center Asheville March 7th through 11th for the 2024 Ingalls SoCon Basketball Championships. Experience fun for the whole family as your favorite SoCon teams compete for a championship and a berth in the NCAA tournament. Book your travel and tickets by logging on to SoConHoops.com or by contacting the Harris Cherokee Center Asheville box office. Get your tickets today.
Welcome into this edition of CEOs You Should Know. I'm Mark Starling, and today we're talking with Jeff Furlan, CEO and owner of Hummingbird Insurance in Asheville. Jeff, what kind of charitable organizations does Hummingbird focus their efforts towards?
Well, we tend to focus our charity or our help on other organizations that focus on health or wellness in some way. Specifically, over the past few years, there are some food banks and also medical societies that we really like. And personally, I tend to like Bounty and Soul Food Bank that has very healthy, wholesome, a lot of farm fresh food locally. And then there's also Project Access, which provides medical consultations and possibly surgery to people that do not have the income and do not have coverage.
Thanks, Jeff. You've been listening to CEOs You Should Know, a short conversation with business leaders around Western North Carolina. To hear more of this conversation, just head to the audio archive of this station's website.
Even if you take excellent care of your teeth and gums at home, you still need to see a dentist regularly. And at Asheville Smiles, they have all the latest and greatest technology, which is so important because they are able to catch issues quicker and diagnose more accurately. Many dental problems, they don't even become visible or cause pain until they are in more advanced stages. So when you are thinking about 2024, you need to make sure that you think about your overall health and make that dental appointment. World-class dental care with a hometown feel. It's AshevilleSmiles.com.
We're back counting down to kickoff. Let's look at today's 3 keys to premium pre-gaming with Beast Unleashed, presented by Monster Brewing. Number 1, beat the heat.
Unleash the beast with bold, familiar flavors, 0 caffeine, and 0 sugar.
Number 2, running the option.
There's 4 to choose from: White Haze, Peach Perfect, Scary Berries, and my personal favorite, Mean Green.
And number 3, at 6% ABV, Max Protect.
Always drink responsibly, and you must be 21 or over.
Beast Unleashed, available at your local retailer.
It's the moment
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
With sunshine today and a light breeze up from the south and southeast, the high should approach 54, and the temperatures will cool quickly tonight with a clear sky, light winds, and an overnight low eventually dropping down to 29. The high tomorrow near 59 under sunshine. A little bit warmer for Thursday with an increase in cloud cover to high of 64. Showers will pop up on Thursday night and then taper off early on Friday, and then a clearing trend for Friday afternoon with a high in the mid-50s. I'm Jeff Marr from the Weather Channel.
After years of discomfort, it's like I'm alive again.
Sonia Hackett talks about how QC Kinetics changed her life.
QC Kinetics has given me my quality of life back.
Before QC Kinetics, Sonia suffered from horrible knee and back pain stemming from a car accident.
I was wearing knee braces just to try to maneuver around.
Sonia hated the idea of pain meds, and surgery seemed too risky. So she turned to the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics, the leaders in advanced regenerative medicine.
That consultation just changed my life. I can do the treadmill, everything. I don't have anything holding me back. The quality of life is pain-free. QC Kinetics has made us very happy.
Call QC Kinetics for your free consultation today.
I'm going to get emotional again. They are like family members to me. They care.
Call QC Kinetics now.
Call QC Kinetics, 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517. 828-333-9517.
From the Ingalls Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
The Sportsocracy.
It fires me up, man. I love it. Say it one more time.
The Sportsocracy.
Shake it back!
Beer City's best sports talk.
It is gross.
Just earlier.
They are mature, actually. You just have to get to know them better.
Your lunchtime dose of dumbassery. Live from the Ingalls studio.
It is ESPN Asheville 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. The Sportsocracy is heard everywhere on the iHeart Radio app, and we are seen everywhere on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link, subscribe to the channel. That way you can join us in the chat.
Just to follow up on what we were just talking about, Patrick Holt in the YouTube comments said, well, you're saying that St. John's can't compete with Carolina and Duke. Their arenas are old and kind of falling apart. And to which I responded, you're not wrong. Now go search their facilities and see what the players get exclusively. I played in Chapel Hill in the early to mid 2000s. I don't remember exactly what year that was. Mm-hmm. We played at the Dean Dome. What they had then is better than what St. John's has now. That was 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. And you got to remember, so Cameron and the Dean Dome both have some real home court advantages. I don't know if have you ever been to Cameron?
I have.
It is the hottest place on planet Earth.
I've never been in there when there are people in there. And it was horridly hot and humid with no one in the building.
We played I don't remember exactly how this went, but we played in an invitational that had satellite sites, and Cameron was one of the satellite sites.
That's cool.
I thanked my lucky stars that I had to play that place. It was the hottest place I've ever been in my life. You ever been to Woolen at Carolina?
Yeah.
Same premise. It's tight. The more people that are here, the hotter it is, and people are just on top of you. And it is awful. Duke will play in that arena until it literally falls down on itself because you can't construct a place like that.
It's
now.
the greatest home court advantage in all of sports.
I'm not even sure that place would pass building codes right now because there are things you look at and go, this doesn't feel safe. We had a fire marshal in here anytime recently because how many people fit in here again? Because this feels like a high school gym.
I still think making, like 70-year-old broadcasters climb that little catwalk to get up there and call a game is ridiculous.
So funny.
But
you get what's his name? Bill Raftery?
Yeah.
Onions! It's climbing a ladder.
It's the kiss of death. That's what that is.
Yeah.
I did not expect to come in here today and have bad words to say about Rick Pitino, but I can't get behind that. I cannot get behind
Well, it shouldn't surprise you that I sided with the coach and not the entitled 19-year-old.
Oh, no doubt. It's not even about that. It's about the coach being unprofessional.
Yeah. Do me a favor. Go coach a group of 16-year-olds for about 3 months, then talk to me about professional. Okay? This is kind of like the only way I can equate this. And look, there's a reason I don't still coach, and it's actually the parents, not the kids. Straight up.
The parents gave you a restraining order. That's why.
No, some of the parents are absolutely awful.
No doubt.
I mean, I'm not going down that rabbit hole. But you remember when your kids were little and you would pick them up from daycare and you would complain about, oh, yeah, it's crazy having two in the house. And the daycare teachers would look at you and go, you have no clue. He bit my eyelid earlier. That ain't even your kid. Yeah, you don't know until you've done it. Every coach within the sound of my voice right now is going, yeah, the fat one knows.
Yeah.
The fat one's been down this road, and it got worse. I mean, the guys like the older
continue
school
to get
guys.
worse. And it could be worse. And it could just keep getting worse and keep getting worse. But you never do that.
100% you do. 100% you do.
No. And hence probably why you're not coaching anymore.
Well,
And
Rick
if you-
Pitino is.
I mean, if you
and
go
he'll
out in front of
continue
a
to.
full crowd of people and
What am I going
dog
to
your
do?
players.
What am I going to do? All right, so what's the alternative? Oh, I got to really I got to light a fire under him in practice. You don't think he's been doing that since Midnight Madness in September? You know what this is? I've tried everything I know to do, and I've coached in the NBA twice, and I can't get these 13 bums to get off their lazy keister and actually run the system that I run. I knew you were just
I'm just flicking that nerve.
flicking that nerve, and I knew eventually you were going to hit it.
Just waiting for the blow up.
Yeah, so eventually I just go to the media and go, hey, to all other recruits that will actually be here and I might want to coach, just understand, this ain't me.
Ricky Pitino.
I can't make Kenny the Worthless here actually do something. Sorry. Show up to St. John's. You want to be coached? I'll coach you, and I'll coach you hard.
Apparently, it is one of the toughest jobs in all of college basketball to deal with at St. John's. As I was reading an article earlier today, it was, the New York, I think it was in the New York Post. The article was basically Rick Pitino was wrong for what he was saying, but let's not mince words. This is a bad situation. It was going to be a bad situation. Rick owns a lot of it, which he should take some credit for, which he did not in the post-game press conference.
And he won't.
Well, and that was was the problem.
But see, he's eaten the poop sandwich for 5 months.
Sure.
It's weird because you said, oh, they started so well. Well, it's ironic. When they were playing Stony Brook and North Texas and Holy Cross and Sacred Heart, wow, they really were successful because this group of, let's see, how do I put this? Non-bought-in players, I'll be as nice as I can be, they could just on talent alone beat teams. Since they went into the conference schedule, they won, their first 3 against Butler, Villanova, and Providence. Since then, they're 2-8. And there are times that they're not just getting beat, they're getting boat raced.
Smoked.
As a coach, you eventually get to a point and just go, I don't know how to get to you anymore. And I think he's looking at the season now going, short of me just going catatonic, there's no amount of screaming, there's no amounts of drill work, there's no amounts of me making you run around this stupid gym that's going to get you to buy in. Maybe if I go to the media and call on your sense of pride, maybe that will work. This struck me as a Hail Mary. Absolute Hail Mary.
Last-ditch effort to get them motivated.
This is what high school coaches do with all team meetings. You bring everybody from the parents in of, I got to get buy-in from mom and dad to kid to my coaches to me to everybody around this program. We all have to buy in, and right now none of us are. That's what Pitino did. He just did it in front of cameras. That's the only difference.
Let's move on here. We'll get back into our actual discussion that we started the first hour with. Toughest jobs in the NFL. New coaches all lined up for new opportunities here. Worst jobs, toughest jobs. We've already said New England. We've already said the Washington Commanders. You feel like that is the second worst or second toughest job for Dan Quinn.
And I think it's by a lot.
And company.
I think it's by a lot.
Mm-hmm. Who's 3?
I have 2. And I don't know which one's tougher. It's either Carolina or the Las Vegas Raiders.
That's Carolina.
I don't know that I agree with you.
Why is that? Why would that not be tougher than Vegas?
What does Carolina have that's bolted to the ground? All right, what player does Carolina have? Just look at the salary cap sheet.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the balance sheet.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't want to re-sign Brian Burns, I don't have to. Who am I pot committed to? Outside of Bryce Young. Name me the player that you know definitively will be here in 3 years.
Nobody.
Awesome. That means 2 to 53. I have complete autonomy. I can do this my way. I'm not going to get burnt out and screwed over because my predecessor was handing out big money contracts like they were candy at Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
The Raiders, on the other hand, you got a lot of dudes that make a good bit of coin. The roster's more talented, don't get me wrong. There ain't a whole lot I can do. If I'm Antonio Pierce, I'm looking at this roster going, 2 to 53, I don't have a whole lot to say here. I might have some 40 to 53, and I have complete autonomy on the quarterback.
But would you rather have a team with no talent or have a team with talent that you're committed to? I'd rather have the team with talent.
Depends on who I am, depends on the situation I'm in. Dave Canales can go 6-11 this year and be looked at as a hero.
Mm-hmm.
I hit 20 players that are going to be a part of my build when this team is conference championship competitive. I'm a hero. The Raiders can go 8-9 in a way tougher conference, and we'll be hearing, oh, this is why you shouldn't have hired Antonio Pierce. You should have gotten a real coach. You should have gotten a coach with experience. You got duped, and you got hoodooed by the emotion and the players. I don't love the situation Antonio Pierce is in. I believe in him, and I believe in that roster. But that's an uncomfortable situation. But, just be honest with yourself. What position group on that team do you look at and go, there's no instability there whatsoever? I feel good about what we have there.
For the Raiders?
Mm-hmm.
Edge rusher.
And then?
Yep.
I would have said wide receiver.
That's about all I got.
I would have said wide receiver.
Not even that. I don't even know how committed Devontae is at this point.
Well, Devontae wanted Antonio Pierce, so I would say he's very committed.
Maybe so.
But this way,
maybe
his
so.
agent
But
has,
in the last 2 years, he's been there 3 times. It's come up that he wants out or that he's not happy or whatever.
And
Now
you just hired his coach. You
Sure.
wouldn't have done that without his.
I get it.
As a very connected, very big fan of the team that he was trying to get traded to, I can tell you that's off the table.
But if you start out, 1-7 or something
Doesn't matter.
god awful.
If he's on the
then
roster
the noise
day
starts
one,
again.
If he's on the roster day one, there's no noise to start. Once the guarantees kick in, there's no reason for me to trade you. It doesn't benefit me in any way.
Mm-hmm.
So you can be as unhappy as you want to be. You're going to be here.
But that's going to be
I did what you wanted. Now you're here.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to go out as a petulant child, you can do that. But this is where you're at. So I would say wide receiver is pretty locked in.
Okay.
I don't know what they'll do with Hunter Renfrow, but I would think any coach not named Josh McDaniels can figure out how to use him.
Okay. Well, if wide receiver's locked in, then I'd say you're locked into your tight end as well.
Ish.
Yeah.
I think he's good.
And then edge rusher. And those are the only things.
And then I've got to do something with the line. I got to figure out my running back, quarterback. That may be the most untenable quarterback situation in the league. Carolina, I at least know who my quarterback is. This is what I signed up for. This is what I'm riding with.
Mm-hmm.
And now I got to build everything around him. So you've taken away the biggest decision in all of sports, which is why I would say the Raiders are in a tougher spot than the Panthers. Not saying that they will win less games, just it's one that the way I look at this is, which job am I going to get better, more restful sleep? And it ain't going to be the Raiders. The Raiders, I'm going to sleep like the princess in the pea. There's something underneath this mattress, and I don't like it. It's just, okay.
I don't think either of these coaches is going to get much sleep at all in their tenures with either of these teams. But I understand.
I love the fit for Canales. I love that it's blank slate. Because you've got everybody's blaming the owner.
Mm-hmm.
It's not Frank Reich. It's not Scott Fitterer. I mean, yes, they were problems too. But if you talk to Panther fans, their biggest problem is the owner.
Mm-hmm.
And how impetuous the owner is and how he fires guys way too early and nobody gets a shot. You know what that means? I'm the safest guy on the planet because even if he thinks I'm a big old dum-dum, he's stuck with me because he has to get that noise to go away. Yeah, I got a big job ahead of me, but I'm also going to get a lot of latitude to do it.
Maybe. Unless he keeps making the same decisions he's been making.
I don't think he can. I really don't. I don't think he can.
But why? You say so many times the ownership does not care what the fans think. What does he care? Is this starting to backlash with deeper circles in the league?
It is getting to an uncomfortable spot. I'll tell you that much.
Okay.
The deal with the fan, that was a way bigger deal behind closed doors. Not that they would take the team away from him, but I have a weird feeling that there was a come to Jesus meeting with some of the old hats in NFL ownership that, hey, dum-dum, you're new, and we get that, and you're trying to put your fingerprint on the team and what you do with your head coach and all that, that's none of our business. When you make us look bad, then it becomes our business. Because this is a very elite club, and we let you in it because you got $1 billion. We can take you out of it just as easily as we let you in it. Because there are hundreds of thousands of guys that would kill to be in your position, and they would not embarrass us. I feel like David Tepper, over the next 24 to 36 months, has to be the quietest owner in the NFL. Because, yes, the fan base can hurt you one way. If I stop buying tickets and you start getting embarrassed on national television of, kind of like you did last year, your stadium holds 65,000 and there's 55,000 Tampa Bay Buccaneer fans here. You do that for a few years, and there's not a lot of coming back from that.
Yeah, they've been doing it since 1995, so it really doesn't.
But they didn't do it when they're good.
No, when they were good, people showed up.
Look, we know that's
the only problem is it only lasts for 16 games at a time.
Well, yeah, it's a fair weather fan base.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and that's not me taking a shot. There are a lot of shots that are that way. There are a lot of fan bases that do the same thing.
Yeah,
there aren't many Buffalo Bills that will show up in 6-degree weather to do vodka shots and light tables on fire even when the team's 4-13.
Mm-hmm. It'll always be a transient scene at Bank of America Stadium.
Yeah, it's a transient city, and it's a young team.
Exactly.
Young
we have so many transplants that, well, let's just face it. The Carolina Panthers, despite the fact that they've been around for 30 years, doesn't really matter all that much because there are many football fans who are older than 30 years old, and we've got our own teams. Mm-hmm. It's the biggest hill that they've had to climb since they became a franchise. Of so many people in this area did not have they're not their team. Their team is the Falcons or the Washington Commanders or whoever.
You know what's getting ready to really debunk that theory?
What's that?
The Houston Texans. They're newer than you are. And now they have a quarterback that the entire fan base can get behind. And I don't envision them having even just a nary of a bit of a problem selling tickets in the next decade.
Yeah.
That's where you're going to look at that.
They didn't have a hard time selling tickets when Deshaun was there.
No. They really didn't have that much trouble selling tickets even when they were terrible. They would show up to boo, which I've never understood. I've never understood paying your hard-earned money to walk in and go, boo, boo. Somebody booed me on YouTube. I can't believe I forgot to tell you that. Oh, yeah. They sent boo 4 times, and I went,
good for you. Good for you.
I showed it to Amy.
You showed up on YouTube to boo.
I showed it to Amy. I was like, is he booing me? Boo. Boo.
Either that or he really wanted you to be his boyfriend.
Oh. Or he likes ghosts. Boo.
You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville, Las Vegas. Raiders, really a tougher job than the Carolina Panthers. If you're bereft of talent, to me that says that's the tougher job. The prospect of building your own, that'd be great if I had somebody in there that had built their own already. It's not inspiring confidence in me. We'll continue to talk about the toughest jobs in the NFL coming up next.
Renewal by Anderson's here. Kickstart the new year with this incredible deal. Buy one window or door and get the second for 40% off. Act now to schedule your free, no-obligation, in-home consultation with my team at freewindowassessment.com. That's freewindowassessment.com.
The madness begins in Asheville. Make sure you're at the Harris Cherokee Center Asheville March 7th through 11th for the 2024 Ingalls SoCon Basketball Championships. Experience fun for the whole family as your favorite SoCon teams compete for a championship and a berth in the NCAA tournament. Book your travel and tickets by logging on to SoConHoops.com or by contacting the Harris Cherokee Center Asheville box office. Get your tickets today.
What's better than winning a prize on a Multiply the Cash scratch-off?
Oh, hello? Well, I guess I'd say probably...
Winning every single prize. What's better than winning every single prize?
I can't think of...
Winning every prize times 2 with the Win-All Doubler.
Well, you don't need me here, so I'm going to go pick up a scratch-off.
New Multiply the Cash from the North Carolina Education Lottery with a chance to win every prize doubled. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.77 to 4.71. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
The free iHeartRadio app has over 100 original stations waiting for you to explore right now, like 24/7 comedy.
Men don't settle down. We surrender.
Women, we never express the emotions we're actually feeling, right? I'm fine means I'm about to stab you in the neck.
Clips from today's top comedians and the greatest of all time.
Donut hole. If you want a donut, have a donut. Why are you eating the hole?
When you need a laugh, just open the free iHeartRadio app and search comedy.
You can actually change the station.
iHeartRadio. Free never sounded so good.
Over 50,000 police officers are assaulted each year. Help police by not escalating. Address any complaints after the encounter. Comply now, complain later. Keep everybody safe. This message brought to you by the National Police Association. Learn more at nationalpolice.org.
Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics have teamed up under new ownership by an Asheville native to better serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at the best price. Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics can customize whatever you, your team, business, or local group may need through high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving right here in Asheville. Free personal delivery within Buncombe County and a reduced delivery fee anywhere in Western North Carolina. Visit ShowtimeSportsAVL.com and MountainGraphicsAVL.com. Your one-stop custom apparel shops.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at ClarissaSellsWNC.com. And did I mention that Clarissa Sells WNC loves teachers? We love teachers so much, we're giving back 25% of our commission at closing. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or ClarissaSellsWNC@gmail.com.
Now's the time to get in the driver's seat of your career. Ingalls Markets is looking for new regional drivers to join our Lando Sky distributors fleet. Begin earning paid time off on your first day. Our drivers average $80,000 per year and they're home every week. Lando Sky offers excellent pay, full benefits, and 401k matching. No experience? Apply for our driver trainee program. Visit inglescareers.com to know more. That's inglescareers.com.
The Sportsocracy.
Pull up your pants, take off the bra, and be a man.
Back in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, and continuing with the toughest jobs in the NFL, the new head coaching positions. New England's the worst. Washington, next worst. Then we got Carolina, Las Vegas. And then 4 more to go.
I feel like the next two are they're in very different boats, but I feel like the climb is the same.
Okay.
Atlanta and Tennessee.
Okay. Explain.
Tennessee feels really far away.
Yes.
But I'm not so sure that they are.
For what reason?
Because they have a quarterback. I believe in Will Levis.
Mm-hmm.
I also find it funny in how many Tennessee Titan fans believe in Will Levis and how few Washington Commander fans believe in Sam Howell. I don't know that I've ever seen anything that was funnier to me. Like, what? Other than where they were drafted, what? Could you please explain that to me? Because that doesn't make a whole mess of sense.
It doesn't.
Because one of them was genuinely god-awful for the vast majority for the same reason.
But is that because of expectation? Is that because of fan expectation of Washington has a possibility to replace Sam Howell? Tennessee does not have an ability to replace Will Levis.
Of course they do. You're picking at 6. You're picking at 6 in a draft where probably all 3 teams in the top 3 would trade out if you blew them away. You absolutely have the opportunity. I'm going to level with you. Fans get stuck in where guys got drafted. If I had $1 for every person that said, Sam Howell went in the 5th round. Brr, 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 brr. Yeah, he did. And if Pittsburgh had it to do over again, he'd have gone at 20.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we don't really care that old Kenny Pickett Sticks over here went to Pittsburgh because he's bad. Maybe we should try that little fella right there. Little Baker Mayfield there. Maybe we should try that. Stop worrying about where guys got drafted.
Mm-hmm.
Puka Nacua went in the 5th round. Trust me. There are a lot of teams in the top 10 that wish, man, I wish we'd have seen that because that kid's good.
Mm-hmm.
He's good at footballs.
So Tennessee has the quarterback, and the rest you can figure out.
Well, I just feel like they have holes at positions that are real easy to figure out this year. 3 biggest needs they have are what? Offensive tackle.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird. You're going to have your choice of whichever one you want. Wide receiver. That's weird. There's a great chance you're going to have one of them fall right in your lap. And then you have more picks, and you're going to have more of them fall right in your lap. Running back. Oh, in a draft that there's 500 running backs. Cool. Defensively, I've never thought they were far off.
Mm-hmm.
You brought in an offensive guy because the offense was far off. Atlanta, you're in a window, and this is the humorous part to me. There's probably no 2 teams in the NFL that are more different, but I feel like the situation's the same. Atlanta needs one thing. Quarterback. I've got to have a quarterback. The problem is I don't know how you're going to get one. You're either going to grossly overpay for Kirk Cousins, or you're going to give up draft capital for a flawed quarterback in Justin Fields, or you're going to grossly overpay to get into the top 3 and get one of these rookies.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure that I love any of those 3. I'm not sure I love any of those 3. If it's Kirk Cousins, you're basically saying, we're in a Super Bowl window. No, you're not. No, you're not. You can go deep in the NFC playoffs because the NFC is bad. Bad. But, 3 years from now, you need a quarterback again.
Mm-hmm.
Justin Fields, you want to pay that contract? Because are you sure? Because I'm not so sure. You should be sure. And then the rookie, you're spinning the wheel of destiny. Yeah, the offensive line's good. You've got a running back. You got a couple weapons. You're still learning on the fly.
Yeah.
The beauty for Atlanta, you're in an awful division. Awful. Now, if Dennis Allen ever loses the pictures he has of somebody in New Orleans, the division gets much less awful. Because I'm not sure Pee Wee Herman couldn't be coaching the New Orleans Saints, and I wouldn't like them better than the other 3.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
I did not like
I was going through my computer and found for some reason, I had a picture of Pee Wee Herman that had been on a live stream we did. I laughed for an hour and didn't even know why.
I did not like the hiring of Raheem Morris. I
like it more and more by the day.
I just don't. I don't see it.
I don't mind it,
and I don't feel like you're. I don't know. I don't feel like this team is that ready to compete. Now go get a quarterback and we'll talk. Until then, you're rolling with whatever you can replace Desmond Ridder with.
Dave in our YouTube chat said, stay at 8 and draft McCarthy. Grow a pair. Well,
you could.
And that could be just chef's kiss. Or you could be fired in 2 years because you drafted a quarterback that had, 400 and something attempts in 3 years of college. Look,
that's a big unknown.
I've never had a tougher evaluation than J.J. McCarthy because the good is really good. The problem is that the good tape takes me about a commercial break to watch from pillar to post. So, I get it. And trust me, I've had people that are way smarter than me say, J.J. McCarthy, he's going in the top 15. Whether you like it or not, he's going in the top 15.
We'll talk about J.J. and the other quarterbacks coming up in just a little bit as we dive into Flo Stradamus's pre-scouting combine quarterback rankings. Continuing with the toughest jobs, though, there's only 2 spots left. We got the Seattle Seahawks, I'm guessing, is next.
Yes. And yes, I do see the humor that the Chargers are in the toughest division, in the tougher conference, and I still think that's the easiest job because you have bar none the most talent.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even close. And if you can get in the dance, I start looking around the AFC and just how many coaches do you really believe in more than Harbaugh? Like, do you believe in Zach Taylor more than him?
No.
Neither do I. Sean McDermott?
No.
Mike McDaniel?
No.
Robert Saleh?
No.
Kevin Stefanski?
No. The guy comes into the league already as a top 10 at least head coach in this league. He's already proven it. He's already taken a team to the next level. Now we just got to see if he can do it for the Los Angeles Chargers. He gets the pass because we've all seen him do it. We've all seen him turn every place he's been into a winner. Maybe not a championship, although I am still of the belief that conference championships matter. Winning an NFC championship with the San Francisco 49ers is definitely something that he can, the feather in his cap. Winning a national championship matters. You come into the Los Angeles Chargers with the most talent around the league, or at least out of these jobs that have changed hands. To me, it's a no-brainer. And I don't think yes, there will be pressure, but I don't think there's going to be a great deal of it. There's no way that he comes in and, say, the first year doesn't go great.
Doesn't go great?
8-9, 9-8, somewhere in that neighborhood.
8-9, 9-8. I think most Charger fans would go, okay.
And
we're a year closer.
And nobody is calling for your job. No. Nobody's calling for your head. I see very little path to anyone doing that after 1 year.
There's another thing with the Chargers. So obviously I recorded the first 10 mock drafts late last week. I got the next 10 coming out the next couple of days. There is no team in the NFL that I ran the simulation more with than the Chargers. I'm not sure you wouldn't have to try to screw this up. There's no team that every time they get on the clock, I just go, awesome, there's 7 dudes I'd love to have here. And they did it every single time. You know the last team I did that with is the Jets 2 years ago. Every time I hit the button, I just went, oh, well, that's awesome. And that's awesome. And that's awesome. And that's awesome.
So what you're saying is the draft order may lay perfectly.
It does lay perfectly. Every year there are teams that get housed by where they fall in the draft order. Every year there are teams that it lays perfectly. I don't know that I've ever seen a team that it laid more perfect than for the Chargers. You may have to overdraft a guy slightly to get your guy, but there never comes a time that I go, God, there's just nobody here that fills a need. I did it into the 4th round. And I bet I ran that simulation 25 times. I never once took a player that I didn't feel awesome about.
We didn't talk much about Mike Macdonald. In Seattle, where do you see that job? I mean, does he have a long leash?
Well, the beauty for Mike Macdonald is that you're a defensive guy, and I'll say 7 of the best 11 players on that team play defense. And they're young, super young. He can build a Legion of Doom Part 2. That's in the cards.
Yes.
The thing that I keep coming back to is, what are you going to do with that offense? Because I think they would like to move on from Geno Smith. I'm not sure what you're going to do that's better. There are 2 names I keep coming to, Sam Howell and Justin Fields. But invariably I go, is either one of those better in a 1-year window than Geno Smith is?
No.
Fields you got to pay. I just keep looking at it going, I don't know how that gets. Like, what is the path that Seattle is a top 12 offensive team next year? You're in a division with the Rams. You're in a division with the 49ers, who are both good. They're both playoff teams last year. You're in a division with the Cardinals, who are ascending. And I just feel like you're kind of sitting still offensively. I'm not saying it's – I think Seattle's a good position because there's a great chance that 3 teams make it to the playoffs out of the NFC West. Sorry, directions just got real hard right there. But even then, I don't see a way you're winning the division. And I'm not sure you can beat the Rams or the 49ers.
No.
The Rams were better than you this year with a roster that looked like an XFL roster from 27 to 53. That's getting ready to get exponentially better.
And I don't think you're going to see this is not one of those scenarios where the team makes a coaching change and you're going to see the bump. I can't expect Mike McDonald to come in here and do a better coaching job in one offseason than Pete Carroll did. Same thing with Jerrod Mayo in New England. He's not going to do what Bill did. That means a little bit different to you, I know, Jeremy. But
yeah,
Bill.
If Jerrod Mayo gets 17 games of 53 dudes on the field, A+. Because the more I look at that roster, the more I'm like, oh boy, I want to feel sorry for you. I don't, but I want to.
Everybody else, I can see the possibility of a coaching bump.
LA.
Those are the two
LA's
spots.
the one that I think it's going to go. I think LA is the team next year that we thought they were this year. And I laugh at all these people that think, they're going to get rid of Mike Williams and Keenan Allen and Quentin Johnston. No, they're not. No, they're not.
We're trying to win a championship.
They're going to chuck all 4 of those dudes out there next year with a legit running back, an improved offensive line, and a defense that could play dead in the Western. And you're going to see the difference that a good coach makes. I don't see that in Seattle. I'll tell you another one that I think you could easily see that. You said you didn't like the Raheem Morris hire.
Yep.
The more I think about this, Arthur Smith was so bad, I'm not sure how they don't buy into Raheem Morris. This is a guy that's been here. This is a guy that Arthur Blank believes in. This is a guy that the fan base, I mean, I know it's not the sexiest hire, but you don't have to do much. That division is terrible. And if you get a little momentum rolling, you're in great shape.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. So least toughest jobs, Chargers, Seattle Seahawks. And you go Atlanta and Tennessee, Carolina and Vegas, and then you have the toughest jobs. The damn it's going to take a miracle. The Washington Commanders and Dan Quinn and Jerrod Mayo taking over for Bill Belichick in New England. Yikes. You're in the Sportsocracy, and quarterback rankings are coming up next after we get weird.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
With sunshine today and a light breeze up from the south and southeast, the high should approach 54, and the temperatures will cool quickly tonight with a clear sky, light winds, and an overnight low eventually dropping down to 29. The high tomorrow near 59 under sunshine. A little bit warmer for Thursday with an increase in cloud cover to high of 64. Showers will pop up on Thursday night and then taper off early on Friday, and then a clearing trend for Friday afternoon with a high in the mid-50s. I'm Jeff Marr from the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone. It's time to say goodnight to that check engine light with the free AutoZone Fix Finder service. It'll help troubleshoot the likely cause of your light for free, so you can drive with peace of mind. Restrictions apply. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Welcome into this edition of CEOs You Should Know. I'm Mark Starling, and today we're talking with Jeff Furlan, CEO and owner of Hummingbird Insurance in Asheville. Jeff, what kind of charitable organizations does Hummingbird focus their efforts towards?
Well, we tend to focus our charity or our help on other organizations that focus on health or wellness in some way. Specifically, over the past few years, there are some food banks and also medical societies that we really like. And personally, I tend to like Bounty and Soul Food Bank that has very healthy, wholesome, a lot of farm fresh food locally. And then there's also Project Access, which provides medical consultations and possibly surgery to people that do not have the income and do not have coverage.
Thanks, Jeff. You've been listening to CEOs You Should Know, a short conversation with business leaders around Western North Carolina. To hear more of this conversation, just head to the audio archive of this station's website.
This is Carolina basketball.
2-on-1. Baycott finishes the transition hammer. R.J. Davis, he's going to try a quick three. Yes, from the right sideline.
On the Tar Heels Sports Network.
Ends up to Baycott, and he gets the run out. Two-handed flush. Carolina, it's Davis. He's fouled, and give him it.
This is your radio home for the Tar Heels.
Asheville's home for the Tar Heels is ESPN Asheville.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. Download our free app on Google Play or the App Store. type in Asheville Home Search. You'll be able to connect with our team and see all the available homes for sale in our area. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
We're back counting down to kickoff. Let's look at today's 3 keys to premium pre-gaming with Beast Unleashed, presented by Monster Brewing. Number 1, beat the heat.
Unleash the beast with bold, familiar flavors, 0 caffeine, and 0 sugar.
Number 2, running the option.
There's 4 to choose from: White Haze, Peach Perfect, Scary Berries, and my personal favorite, Mean Green.
And number 3, at 6% ABV, Max Protect.
Always drink responsibly, and you must be 21 or over.
Beast Unleashed, available at your local retailer.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
Back in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville. Jeremy, April the 8th. It's a big day coming up.
Is that the date of one of Creed's dates in their
It is not. It is not. Aside that from being the day that I'm officially going to have teenagers. Holy crap.
Fun, ain't it?
Yeah. April 8th is going to be the next solar eclipse. Right, and we've got the total solar eclipse that spans the entire country.
So would you say that it's a total eclipse of the heart?
It could be. It very well could be. Do you you remember when we did this several years ago? Remember everybody was selling the glasses. You could go out and check it out, and there was going to be the totality of darkness in certain spots across the country.
Yeah, I was I was the boss of a building that was very tall, and people came to our building to watch that, and I was nowhere close. Bosses showed up and went, "Where are you at?" And I went exactly where I wanted to be, the furthest away from that place that was humanly possible.
Well, the path of totality, to me, it was a cool thing. Like if you followed it last time, the images that were shared out were just breathtaking. They were awesome. And the one thing that crossed my mind was, if it looks that cool on the ground, imagine how cool that would be in the air. Well, apparently Delta Airlines, some of their execs had some of the same ideas that I did. So now they have a flight, the solar eclipse flight, that they will be offering on April the 8th. You depart. Obviously, it's not really helping us out all that much. You'd have to fly to get there. But you depart from Austin, Texas at 12:15 Central Time on April the 8th. You fly to Detroit, land at 4:20 p.m. And then that follows the entire path of totality. So you will be in the dark for much of the flight. That sounds cool to me.
I was born in the darkness. You merely inherited it. That sounds horrific to me.
$579 for a one-way ticket to be on this flight.
I'm actually shocked it's that cheap.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I'm just thinking,
what's the most you've ever
How many people would do that? How many people would do this just to do this flight?
More than you think.
Really?
Especially if it's that cheap. And you don't have to have luggage because more than likely you're just flying right back.
Mm-hmm.
Is that round trip or one way?
That's one way. One-way ticket.
That's a little more expensive.
$578 is what it's going for. This would be really cool, and I really hope somebody takes the camera with them because that's the only way I'll be enjoying it, obviously. If you had the money, I'd be on that flight.
What is the most you've ever paid for an airline ticket?
Oh, Lord. God, probably, I don't even remember. I've only paid for like 3 flights in my entire life, and I think the most expensive one was like $175.
Yeah, I've gone significantly more than that. Man, I miss having a corporate card. I specifically remember one time American Airlines sliding me a $4,000 plane ticket and me going, man, if this is my money, I would be pissed right now. But
Excuse
I'm not.
me? $4,000? Mm-hmm. Where the hell were you trying to get to? The center of the sun?
No, I was booking it the same day. The flight that I had was canceled, and I was playing a fun game of, hey, I want to get home, and this is not my money, so let's go Monopoly.
Good Lord, Jeremy's he's trying to get the only private flight to New Zealand, apparently.
Oh, yeah, we'll tell you this, though. You fly first class, you'll never fly the same again.
Oh, my God.
Because you get into the plebe class, will you shut that baby up? Why are you flying with a child? I should be up there with the cookies and the champagne, not back here with the plebes. Jesus. Speaking of plebes, my story comes from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. I am not 100% sure what destination restaurant that this was, but I'm pretty sure that it rhymes with Ped Robster. There was a restaurant that had an endless shrimp shtick. It's a little promo. Mm-hmm. We don't know this woman's name, but we do know that the Oklahoma City police are on the hunt for this woman because she showed her keister when they told her that the endless shrimp was only what you could eat whilst seated in that booth. Because she had brought bags that she was putting in her purse.
What a dumbest.
They saw her do it. They told her she couldn't do it. Her and her man friend made a bit of a scene, and she made off with the bags of endless shrimp. Now, here's my question. Who's in the wrong here? The one that didn't specifically say, because if it's the chain that I think it is, it's in the subtext, but you got to make this pretty clear because we've established this. 22.4% of the population is really stupid. So you didn't spell it out, and Myrtle showed up with her pocketbook full of shrimp bags.
Too damn bad.
I think that's common sense, isn't it?
Of course it's common sense.
Like,
you
I'm
can't
not
go
feeding
in
your
there and say, I'm just going to take 7 gallons of it home to feed my children. No, you're not.
I need 17 bags of peel and eat shrimp. Stat. I brought the Louis Vuitton bag, and I want it filled to the brim.
In what world did you think that was okay? And second off, how did she get bags of shrimp to leave with?
Because apparently they kept bringing it to her.
Giving it to you.
Well, apparently they were bringing it to her. They thought she was eating it. She was
putting it in the bag.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
so
I'm taking your bag at that point.
No doubt. She showed her keister.
Yeah, it's my bag.
Now the Oklahoma City police are looking for her.
Yeah, I'll give you the bag back after I dump all this shrimp out.
You ever go to any of those all-you-can-eat shrimp places?
Used to a lot.
Oh,
hence the heart attack.
I was about to say. I feel like you're the person that they walk in and go, "Oh shoot!"
Oh yeah.
Oh,
there was
tons of funds back.
I want to say that there was Calabash West. It was right over the hill here in Irwin Hills. Great. Loved the place. And I think they had an all-you-can-eat every day. Like Mondays was shrimp, and Tuesdays was clam strips, and Wednesdays was oysters. And
I can't do seafood.
Unless
it's this place is out of business, right?
Yes.
Okay. I figured as much because every single one of them that I dropped, nope, I can't finish that joke, but you can assume. I can't do seafood this far away from the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
You put me near an ocean? Oh, shoot, buddy. Benjamin's, Myrtle Beach.
Yes.
Have you ever been asked to leave an all-you-can-eat buffet?
No.
Brian Davis, he's actually one of our wonderful police here in Buncombe County. He and I were asked to leave a Benjamin's. They were like, we will pay for one of your meals if you will just go right now. Because I think between the two of us, we polished off 17 plates of crab legs.
Nice.
And they went, look, the fat one, we're never going to fill him up. It's just not going to happen. He's eaten $900 worth of crab legs so far.
About 4 or 5 years ago, we went to Myrtle Beach. We did that. We went to one of the big buffet places. It was $70 a person.
Oh, yeah. I'll make my money back there.
I camped. And I sat there, and I did plate after plate after plate of nothing but crab legs. And finally, like, the waitress did come around and said something to the table. Like, not to me, specifically, but said something to the table of, you just like one last check-in. You guys good? You're all good? Everybody's good? You going back for more? And I went, I'm not done yet. This is costing me $70.
You know what she wanted to say? Go away, fat man!
No way.
Go
no
away
doubt.
now!
No doubt.
We need skinnier people in these seats.
Nope.
We don't want you to have a stroke right here because, frankly, you're turning red.
I'm going to need at least 3 more plates before I get to leave. I apologize, but it's just not happening because that is insane.
Secret time? Everybody talks about HWA not being – we're like the Rock and Roll Express if professional drinking was an Olympic sport. You take she and I to a all-you-can-eat crab leg place, we'll bankrupt it. She can crack crab legs in the most efficient, awe-inspiring way you will ever see. And she just hands them to me. Like, there you go. There's 84 pounds of crab legs. You just give me what you don't want. We've had waitresses come to our table and just go, good Lord, you're efficient doing that. Yeah. She is a Florida woman.
Got to get your money's worth. That's all I'm saying. I applaud the effort, but you got to be better about stealing the shrimp if you're going to do it.
Oh, yeah. You got to be like Tank and have a real big bag when you walk into the movies and you've got a full plate of ravioli in there.
It's the only way to do it.
You make my head hurt.
You're in the Sportsocracy. CSPN Asheville. Jeremy, quarterbacks for 2024. We've talked about this class a lot already. But looking at the quarterbacks, is there any great ones outside the top 3? Are there any great ones inside the top 3?
No.
It's lots of questions.
No. Look, I don't love this class. I've been really open and honest. This quarterback class to me has recipe of getting a slew of people fired. Because Caleb Williams is looked at in a way that I don't see it. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see him as a no-doubt quarterback prospect that's going to come in and just save a franchise. You deal with the emotional problems, you deal with some of the leadership issues, and then you get to the real net of the problem. Watch him against good defenses. He's awful. Awful. That Notre Dame tape, I've watched it 3 times. I keep hoping that I see something that gives me hope. I don't. He's my 3rd quarterback in this class.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't touch him.
Wow.
I think he gets you fired. And I don't really see a way around it because fans know that name, and so they think he's going to come in and ride in like the White Knight and just save your franchise.
Well, because he's a
not
Heisman
going
Trophy
to.
winner.
Well, so is Jayden Daniels.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody looks at him that way.
Nope.
I don't get it. And look, we got a lot of feedback on our Bears mock draft that they should re-sign Justin Fields. Well, they're not going to. Whether they should or not, the money is so discrepant that I can't say that they should. I'm not so sure they shouldn't draft Drake Maye and go the safer route because this is without a doubt the best team. You look at the Bears roster compared to the Commanders or the Patriots, this is the best spot a quarterback could land in. And I could, in theory, say the same thing about Jayden Daniels if they preferred him.
The question I keep asking myself is, when it comes down to what is Chicago going to do, did Shane Waldron take this job to hook himself to Justin Fields?
And they're taking a quarterback regardless.
I was going to say, I can't imagine the answer to that is yes.
They're taking a quarterback regardless. You just when I was in Mobile, the biggest topic of discussion, other than how much is Baker Mayfield going to get, is how much is Justin Fields worth and who's going to take on the headache. Because Chicago, and I've said this in comments 100 times, so I'll say it here on the radio so everybody can hear it. Chicago likes him. They're in like with him, not love with him. And they're not prepared to pay him what he's going to cost. So if I can trade that off, reset the rookie clock with a quarterback that I think is as good, if not better, I'm going to do that. I'm not saying it's my biggest need. I'm also saying I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. I've got the number 1 pick here. It would be dumb for me to not take a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it has to be a guy I believe in. And I'm not so sure I fully believe in any of the 3. But then you get into that next tier. And that next tier it gives me the angina.
It's lots of landmines.
Is there one that you feel really good about? You know, Dave was talking about J.J. McCarthy earlier and that he did make NFL throws. Don't get suckered in by the Harbaugh offense. That's not the problem. I've seen the NFL throws. I just haven't seen it enough.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and I don't remember the specific numbers off the top of my head, he is at half the number of passing attempts that Caleb Williams is. It's harder for me to see deficiencies because you're not asked to do that much, and defenses sell out against the run because you run so often. What's going to happen when you're behind? He didn't experience that very often. He goes to Atlanta. He's going to be behind some. What does that look like? And I'm shooting in the dark because I've never seen it.
Yeah. If the tools are there, the intangibles are there, and he's got the arm, you've seen some good tape, you have to, I guess, take it on a leap of faith that that's going to continue, that you'll be able to see him make the big throws at the next level, that he'll be poised because I never saw him be a guy who got rattled.
No.
But there again, he didn't really have the ball in his hands with the clock ticking down. It's all on you to make the play.
The thing that would make me really nervous is looking at quarterbacks over the course of time that I had this same question with, where I just haven't seen you do it enough, and you're batting exactly 0. Because there's a lot of Jake Locker, Anthony Richardson last year. He kind of falls in the same boat. He went at 4. We said we had some issues with him. Couldn't believe anybody was going to take him that high. He goes at 4, and what happened? He got hurt immediately. And yes, I know anybody could get hurt. I'm aware of that. Trey Lance, we didn't have a lot of tape on him. Came to the NFL, awful. Genuinely, still dumbfounded that he went in the first round. Mm-hmm. I would have done the same thing because you do have guys like Josh Allen. They had a lot of tape. It was just at a much lower level. I could see the hitches in his delivery. I could see that he was going to have accuracy issues. What I couldn't see is, what are you going to do when you play against the big boys? Because it didn't happen very often.
The Flostradamus pre-combine quarterback ranking coming up in the next hour. Plus, after the top of the hour break here, we will get into the daily draft, the most overrated players in the NFL. Next.
When you wake up well-rested on a great mattress, everything becomes clear.
I do overthink everything.
Things you missed when you were tired finally reveal themselves.
I should just get fake plants.
It's the President's Day sale at Mattress Firm. Get a king bed for a queen price. Save up to $700, plus a free adjustable base with select Sealy mattresses. See a lower price? We'll match it. The right mattress matters. We'll find yours. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
People who suffer from arthritis are getting real pain relief with exciting biologic therapies at QC Kinetics.
The success rate is there, and there's no better way to treat yourself when it comes to dealing with pain.
Meet Tyler Vale, co-founder of QC Kinetics, who says they can't cure arthritis, but they can treat the pain.
If you think of the tide coming in and out on the beach and what it does, it erodes the sand, right? Can't stop the tide, but eventually when the sand or the beach gets bad enough, we backfill that beach with sand so that we get generations of enjoyment with that beach again. And the same thing happens with your knee or your shoulder or your hip or your back. We want to backfill the problems that have happened to this point. I'm not stopping the tide, so I'm not stopping the arthritis, but I want to get generations of enjoyment out of those joints again.
Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation. Learn more about how restorative biologic therapies can get you real and lasting joint pain relief.
Call QC Kinetics, 826-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517. QC Kinetics, 828-333-9517.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WBNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WBNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WBNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch. The best season of the year is here.
Tailgate season.
Monster Brewing presents this season's MVP,
The Beast Unleashed.
with 4 bold, familiar flavors.
With 0 caffeine and 0 sugar.
Beast Unleashed is your new pregame ritual.
With white haze, mean green, peach perfect, and scary berries, there's a flavor for every fan. The Beast Unleashed.
6% alcohol by volume. Unleashed responsibly. Must be 21 or over. Beast Unleashed. Available at your local retailer.
The Ingles 2024 Southern Conference Downtown Dribble and Kids Fest, presented by Champion Credit Union, will be held Saturday, March 9th, 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. at the Roger McGuire Green at Pack Square Park. The Downtown Dribble will feature interactive games, inflatables, pep bands, cheerleaders, and a parade. Each participant will receive a basketball, Downtown Dribble t-shirt, and a ticket to the noon session quarterfinal basketball games. Check-in will begin at 9:30 a.m. at Roger McGuire Green. To register, visit downtowndribble.eventbrite.com.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
With sunshine today and a light breeze up from the south and southeast, the high should approach 54, and the temperatures will cool quickly tonight with a clear sky, light winds, and an overnight low eventually dropping down to 29. The high tomorrow near 59 under sunshine. A little bit warmer for Thursday with an increase in cloud cover to high of 64. Showers will pop up on Thursday night and then taper off early on Friday, and then a clearing trend for Friday afternoon with a high in the mid-50s. I'm Jeff Marr from the Weather Channel.
Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics have teamed up under new ownership by an Asheville native to better serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at the best price. Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics can customize whatever you, your team, business, or local group may need through high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving right here in Asheville. Free personal delivery within Buncombe County and a reduced delivery fee anywhere in Western North Carolina. Visit ShowtimeSportsAVL.com and MountainGraphicsAVL.com. Your one-stop custom apparel shops.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
Have you Googled yourself lately? Are there negative posts from an ex-employee or from a former client? Maybe an outdated news article or sensitive personal information about your family? Search engines don't always get it right. But right or wrong, it's your reputation on the line. That's where Reputation Defender by Norton comes in. One of the most trusted names in online reputation repair, Reputation Defender has been fixing people's search results for over 15 years. Their cutting-edge approaches help you to wipe away unwanted information in your search results. They also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, helping you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. Take control with Reputation Defender. You can start by getting your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com or call 800-803-5505 to speak to an expert. That's 800-803-5505.
The Sportsocracy.
It fires me up, man. I love it. Say it one more time.
The Sportsocracy.
Shake it back!
Beer City's best sports talk.
It is gross.
Just earlier.
They are mature, actually. You just have to get to know them better.
Your lunchtime dose of dumbassery. Live from the Ingles studio.
We are back in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. This is the Sportsocracy, and we're heard everywhere you go on the iHeart Radio app. You can take us with you everywhere you go and see us everywhere you go on YouTube. Go to thesportsocracy.com, click that live video link, subscribe to the channel. That way you can join us in the chat, top of the third hour of the program, and it's daily draft time. And we'll be talking about the most overrated players in the NFL.
We do love a draft around here.
We do love a draft around here, and Chris Sims has been, he's been doing that thing he does where he throws out a spicy little take, and then everybody just kind of, gravitates towards it and tells him he's full of crap. And then I do love the people who like to bring up all his old stats. And who's this guy to tell us who a quarterback is? Well, we also take advice from Dan Orlovsky, and he wasn't great at quarterback either.
No. Well, here's the thing. If you had to be a great quarterback to be an analyst, Joe Montana and guys like that would really be able to call their own shot, wouldn't they?
They would.
Yeah, just because you had the ability to throw a football doesn't mean you know what a good quarterback looks like.
Mm-hmm.
If you'd ever debate that, go listen to Keyshawn Johnson. He was a decent wide receiver, and I think the last competent thing he said was in about 2016.
Speaking of calling your own shot, if you're good at that, if you have a knack for, calling the outcomes of games, and hey, how about put your money where your mouth is? It's not legal yet in the state of North Carolina, but it's coming, ladies and gentlemen. March the 11th. It all goes live. It won't be long until you can bet on the same game parlays and money lines and prop bets, all that fun stuff that Jeremy and I talk about leading up to each and every important contest. You will be able to wager on starting March 11th with DraftKings. They have social betting groups that you can get into where you can share your bets with each other in real time. So we could set up a sportsocracy group.
We're gonna.
And we could all share what we're laying on for that particular evening. You could bet on all kinds of sports, including college basketball. That's the big one coming up because March 11th, that's the day before the ACC tournament begins. So it's going to be in full swing in the state of North Carolina for March Madness. New customers download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and bet on all your favorite sports once we go live. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook, coming to North Carolina on March 11th. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or go to morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus, North Carolina only. Eligibility restrictions apply, subject to regulatory licensing requirements. See terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook/NC. Jeremy, the most overrated players in the NFL. We'll start the draft.
My question is, do you hit in any of the three of my top three?
Well, I feel like there's one guy that we should put at the top of this list because it's a guy that we argue about over and over and over again. It's Brock Purdy. He's my number one overrated player because I don't believe that he is the Messiah that everybody makes him out to be, that Tom Brady 2.0 guy. He is vastly overrated for what he is. He's really good. He can put up really great stats in the Kyle Shanahan system, but I don't think he's the straw that stirs the drink there.
I would agree with you. Brock Purdy was in my top 5.
Okay.
He was not in my top 3. My number 1, and it's by a billion D. It's Deshaun Watson.
Ooh,
if you look at what he has been since, he stopped going to massage parlors, it's not real impressive, but by golly, he's paid like it is. And I don't think the average fan looks at him that way anymore, but he's paid that way.
Mm-hmm.
And so that'll keep him on this list forever. I mean, just look at the depths that the Cleveland Browns got to. And that was with Joe Flacco. That should tell you everything you need to know. He's not that guy. Now, whether he ever becomes that guy again, I have no idea. I know what I think, and I'm leaning to no.
Okay.
Stephen Tao said last pick in the draft, and he's overrated. Stop worrying about where people get drafted. You know how long that matters? Until about the time you get shuffled off the stage. And then now you're a quarterback in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about Brock Purdy in the MVP discussion, and I'm telling you, I ruined many good pairs of pants because I peed in them laughing at all the people that went, he should be the MVP. No, he shouldn't. No, he shouldn't be.
I do love your stupid people voice.
Oh, what go bastard left so down. It almost turns into like a bark for some reason. I'm not really sure why, but whatever. What's fun is when I do it to people, like I respond on YouTube or Twitter, and I'm using that voice when I respond, and I know they don't hear it that way. Josh Bill's going to be our quarterback forever. Yeah, sorry. All right, I'm done now. 2 was a tough decision for me because there's 2 that I feel really good about. They're both quarterbacks, too. I know whichever one I don't take, you're going to take. So I'll take the one I feel better about.
Okay.
Dak Prescott. You keep telling me how elite he is. Here's my problem with Dak Prescott. There is absolutely no evidence that his productivity leads to jack squat for the Dallas Cowboys. Best seasons he's ever had, worst seasons he's ever had. They end exactly the same way. You go into the playoffs, and you get scattered, smothered, covered, diced, and chunked. Biggest games you play, he always comes up small. Just look at the last 4 elimination games of the Dallas Cowboys and compare those game logs. If Dak Prescott was the quarterback of any other team in the NFL, oh, by the way, let me just throw this out there. Hey, what's the difference between Dak Prescott and Tua Tagovailoa? There's not one. That's the point.
All right, Dak Prescott. I don't like that.
I felt good. Feel pretty solid about my 2 starters here.
Okay.
And then I'm going to perturb people with my next 3. Let's go.
Well, my next selection, he said it, so I'm gonna back him up. It's Jalen Hurts.
That was the other one that I knew whichever one I didn't take, you were taking next.
Is Chris Sims wrong?
No.
He had one good year where he put up massive stats.
And
you know who else did that? Geno Smith.
Kevin Cobb.
That's a good one. Kevin Cobb. Nick Foles.
Oh, we could do this for a while.
Yeah. You remember
Scott Mitchell. Matt Flynn.
Jalen Hurts.
Matt Castle.
Uh-huh.
Oh, can we just do this for the rest of the hour? Name one-year quarterbacks that people thought were good and then fell off the world. Brian Hoyer.
Did you say Matt Flynn already?
Yes.
Oh, missed that one. Jalen Hurts is overrated. Chris Sims is not wrong. This is one of those scenarios where I will back him up. He and Brock Purdy are in the same category to me.
If you prop them up, they can do really good things.
Bingo.
And we're not saying they're bad quarterbacks.
No.
You're just putting them in this Joe Burrow tier, this Pat Mahomes tier, and they're not.
Yeah, that they do not belong in. My next one.
I'm curious to see if yours is I don't have any more quarterbacks on my list for a minute.
This is not a quarterback, but I also kind of want to go names on the door and cheat.
Oh.
How about Dallas Cowboy cornerbacks not named Stephon Gilmore? Trayvon Diggs, Deron Bland. We saw Trayvon do it last year. We saw Deron Bland do it this year, where they had a bajillion interceptions in the season, but they were one of the most toasted corners in the entire league.
I'll allow it.
Okay.
I'll allow it. I like your creativity.
Thank you. Dallas
and I agree
corners.
with you, which is people were talking about Deron Bland for Defensive Player of the Year. Are you sure?
Don't do that.
Stop watching just the highlights of the interceptions. Let's talk about those other 10 passes that he was going, uh-oh. That should be his nickname. Oh, crap. That's my guy. They called my number. Sorry, coach. There was a butterfly. I wanted to chase it. And DK Metcalf just obliterated me. He's real fast, and I just gave up. I didn't even want to chase him anymore.
The pop plays are great, but I need you to do more than that.
That was a good selection.
Thank you.
I always take, I mean, this is not a shot. It's going to sound like a shot. I always take great pride when Tank does nefarious, dirtiest player in the game drafty things because I overflow with pride. I've taught him well. My next one is not a quarterback.
Okay.
And I don't know what to do with this guy anymore because I don't know how long it's going to take before people figure out he's just not that good, and he never has been.
Okay.
It's Odell Beckham Jr.
Yes.
He is bad at football and has been for a real, real long time. There are children that can tell you not only what they want, but they can go to the cabinet and get it, who have not been on this earth while he was a usable wide receiver for more than 4 games. Stop doing it. The Baltimore Ravens just paid him $1 gajillion for 1 year. Do you know who his player comps are? It's one of my favorite things to do. You go to Pro Football Reference and it tells you, well, this is your career. Chris Collinsworth, TJ Hushmanzada, Tyler Lockett, Julian Edelman, Al Toon, Derek Alexander. That's what you're dealing with. So you can say the name all you want to. He's not very good, and he hasn't been for a real long time. That felt good. I hate to do this one. I really do. But it's true, and I mean it. It's Austin Eckler. All you fantasy football people have been completely duped by the fact that he is a running back that can't run between tackles. He's a little gimmicky puppet. That's what he does. And look, he's fun. I've had him on fantasy teams. It wasn't that fun this year, but he's been fun in the past. And look, he moves around, and he's built like a muscle hamster, and he can run corners over. But I need a yard, and you're not great at doing that. Anytime you have a running back that needs another running back for you to be all that you can be, it kind of makes me think that you're grossly overrated, especially when people start talking about him with Saquon Barkley or Nick Chubb or any of these high-level guys. I just laugh. How many times does this league have to tell you what he's worth before you figure it out? I've heard 100 people talk about where he could go. Set the market on him. How much is he going to get? If the Chargers just go, you know what, we're going with Jim Harbaugh, we're going to get a running back, what does he get on the open market? Because I have a number in my head.
7.5.
I think that's too high.
Really?
5 can get to 6 with incentives. And I look at it in that Jerick McKinnon role with Kansas City or one of these teams that already has a thumper and they need the little gadget guy. The difference between Austin Eckler and Laviska Shenault is not as much as you want it to be. Austin Eckler is a way better version of it. But it's still a gimmicky little toy. I know he won you your fantasy league, Bruce. I got it. He's just not that great.
That hurt me. You know how big of a fan I am of Austin Eckler. He's a great player. He's bad coaching. Yeah, that's
so. When Jim Harbaugh looks at him and goes, "Oh, good Lord, no, we're not $5 million. You smoke crack?" Is that going to tell you? Oh, row.
All right, my next selection: most overrated players in the NFL. Well, I'm going to take one that we said was overrated in the preseason. He got signed by his new team. They gave him $20+ million. And then he came in, and he was probably the worst part of the unit that he joined.
Jawan
Taylor of the Kansas City Chiefs. Because that dude has some serious issues with abiding by the rules of the NFL. Holding blocks in the back, false starts galore.
I would just love to know what, like when you were a kid. You remember the bingo song?
Yeah.
B-I-N-G-O?
Yeah.
I would kill to have seen Jawan Taylor as a kid playing that. There was a farmer. B-I-N-G-O! Oh, shoot! Oh, I did it at the wrong time.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. Dude can't stay still.
There was a farmer. N-G-O! Oh! Shoot! I keep doing it at the wrong time.
He was absolutely terrible. And it felt like time after time, it was always him. It always felt like when Kansas City had something good going, it was always him. And despite that fact, they still won the damn title.
Yeah. That's how good Kansas City is.
Absolutely.
Jawan, the cow, says, woof! Woof! Oh.
Woof.
Oh, did I do it wrong?
Woof.
Jawan Taylor's going to fly to North Carolina and smack me like a little boy. Mm-hmm. He's going to have plenty of time on his hands pretty soon.
And finally, I'm going to go with another guy who had just everything went south this year. It's J.C. Jackson.
Is he still rated?
All-pro J.C. Jackson.
Is he still rated, or do we just look at him and go?
Who got sent bye-bye?
I mean, you got to be bad when a team goes, here's $50 million. Just, you got to do something about your face because you have the most punchable face I've ever seen in my life.
Right. You got to get out of here.
You ain't got to go home, but you have got to get out of here.
I don't think I've ever seen a team go that quickly.
Tremaine Johnson. I've totally seen it. And I guess that's why I'm not overreacting to it as much as you are.
All right, maybe so.
Tremaine Johnson got a bag, and then I'm not sure he even knew which direction football was played. Like, he would just line up and go, oh, shoot. He was running at me. I didn't know that's how this went.
All right,
so that means I've got one left?
You got one left.
Oh, this is easy. Justin Fields. The apologists on him, you're out of your mind. Like, if you're okay with paying him $35 million, we have this cup. We need you to take it in the bathroom, and you're going to have to piddle in it because we're afraid that you're doing harmful recreational drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how many quarterback analytics that he did not finish in the bottom 10 of last year?
No.
I think there's 22 that we used across the board. He was in the bottom 10 of every single one of them.
Really?
Open throw miss rate, all of it. And then he did that 2 years before that, too. He's gotten slightly better. It ain't to the point that you're making it out to be.
Mm-hmm. Kelvin Joyner in the YouTube comments throws out Tony Pollard. That's not a bad one.
Tony Pollard's a good one. The only thing about Pollard is that I think he probably goes back into that spell role. Like, he's a guy I would love in Kansas City or with one of these other teams that just needs a second pop running back. But then again, that's the same thing I said about Eckler. See, it's a good point.
Mm-hmm. To me, it wouldn't be overrated on Tony Pollard. It would be most disappointing. Because I don't know that anybody looks at him and goes, yeah, he's an all-pro. Like we did with the other guys that we've mentioned.
We did going into the year, and that's where it got kind of sideways.
Yeah, I could see that. But again, that falls into more disappointing territory for me. Stephen Tao mentioned Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I think most of us now look at him. If you had another one, who would it have been?
It probably would have been Russell.
Yeah, mine's going to shock you.
Who's that?
It's Aaron Rodgers.
Really? Overrated.
Over the last 3 years. If you're looking at the player you're getting right now, and you take all the stories you've heard about him, are you really worth this headache? Because I'm not so sure that you are.
Okay. You're in the Sportsocracy. This ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, it'll be time for that quarterback ranking prospects in the 2024 NFL Draft.
Don't miss huge savings on better sleep during Mattress Firm's President's Day sale. For a limited time, shop in store to score a Sleepy's Queen mattress for only $89.99. That's over 60% off and the lowest price ever. So hurry in today. This deal is only here while supplies last.
Hey, it's Mark Starling from First News on 570, and I've been going to Summit Dental in Asheville with Dr. Chad Reinhardt for years. They're fantastic, but you don't have to take my word for it. Check out some of these 5-star reviews from Google. After searching for a dentist for months, I finally found this place. I needed some serious dental work, and they got me in within a week. If you're anxious about going to the dentist, I assure you this is the place that can give you a new outlook on having dental work done. They're upfront, honest, and caring people who only want the best for their patients. You gotta check out Summit Dental in Asheville with Dr. Chad Reinhardt, home of the Comfort Menu.
iHeartRadio Earth is here with little tips for a healthier planet. Help improve air and water quality in your local community by inviting your friends, family, and neighbors to join you in a local volunteer project. Discover projects in your area by visiting iHeartRadio.com/Earth. When we all chip in, our world becomes a better place. Brought to you by iHeartRadio Earth and the National Environmental Education Foundation. To find more tips for smarter, sustainable living, or to take action in your own community, go to iHeartRadio.com/Earth.
Sandstone Health and Rehabilitation is known for compassionate care for all across its 18 North Carolina locations. Whether your loved one needs short-term rehabilitation or long-term care, our exceptional staff and comprehensive services are here to support their recovery or ongoing needs.
I'm Julian Edelman from Games with Names, and we're on the search
to find the greatest games of all time with the players and coaches who lived in them. Ever wonder what a locker room feels like at a halftime of a Super Bowl? Or what about the after parties? We're going to dive deep into the most iconic games with the most iconic people. New episodes dropping weekly. Listen to Games with Names on the iHeart Radio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WBNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WBNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WBNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch. The best season of the year is here.
Tailgate season.
Monster Brewing presents this season's MVP.
The Beast Unleashed.
With 4 bold, familiar flavors.
With 0 caffeine and 0 sugar.
Beast Unleashed is your new pregame ritual.
With white haze, mean green, peach perfect, and scary berries, there's a flavor for every fan.
The Beast
Unleashed.
6% alcohol by volume. Unleashed responsibly. Must be 21 or over. Beast Unleashed. Available at your local retailer.
It's the moment you dream of.
We're back at the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, and it's time for the most important message of the day.
Don't do crimes!
And let's go to Texas, where a man did crimes. Man in Texas, Harris County, Texas, decided he was going to go antique shopping last week, February the 15th. Calls started coming in to the Harris County Sheriff's Department.
So you're telling me he went antiquing?
He did go antiquing.
Okay.
He did. And he decided that the appropriate attire for this event would be wearing his kilt. I don't know. Okay. Scottish man, maybe he likes the Highland Games. I don't know.
Maybe he just was planning on walking over some grill grates and wanted a strong gust of wind.
I can't tell if he's authentic Scottish or what. He is, according to the what?
How are you trying to disseminate that? If he looks like me, yes.
Exactly.
If he doesn't,
exactly.
no.
Right. Like if he looks like Hamish from Braveheart, then pretty much he's going to be Scottish. This guy has a bald head. I can't really tell much about him from the surveillance footage here. One thing they did catch on the surveillance footage, though, was that he was walking around the shop just looking at things, and then he'd pick an item off the shelf, and it'd disappear for a few seconds, and then he'd just put it back on the shelf and walk on.
You ever just look at stuff?
Just, he's just testing things out.
Well, I don't like where this is headed.
Well, it turns out, according to the constable of Harris County, of this district,
Constable, there's a word we don't use nearly enough.
Yes. Constable Mark Herman's office received information from multiple concerned citizens regarding the identification of this man because he was in the store and he was playing hide and seek with some of the stuff on the shelf with his prison wallet. Yeah, he was taking stuff off the shelf, slipping it under the kilt, going in, and then putting it back on the shelf. Just, now you have a tainted candlestick. Or
breathe in and release.
This guy has been charged. This is a quote from the Facebook page of the Harris County Constable Precinct 4 Mark Herman. Due to the loss of multiple antique items that had to be disposed, constable deputies obtained a search warrant and his arrest for offenses of criminal mischief. I would say that is very mischievous. Just gives a whole new meaning to the to the term "let's go antiquing."
Stephen Towle with the comment of the day: tainted.
Tainted.
There you go. That's pretty good, and I think you win for today. My story comes out of Daytona Beach, Florida. It's about a man named Walter Grimes. I am going to omit parts of this story, and then we're going to play Mad Libs at the end of it. Police are searching for him after he is accused of attacking his friend. 911 caller says, I was walking out of my apartment. This guy came over to me, and he said someone just got blank in the apartment he just came out of. Call came in Monday. They have been looking for the man ever since. I left out some pieces of this. How old is Walter Grimes?
62.
He is 35 years old.
Okay.
What was the dispute over? There was a dispute in the apartment.
Okay. So they were fighting.
You could think it would be drugs or all kinds of things.
I'm going to say the dishwasher wasn't unloaded as it should have been.
Nope. It's about an Xbox.
Okay.
Mr. Grimes recently became homeless. He went to his friend's house, apparently went to the friend's house. They were playing Xbox. Mm-hmm. And at some point in the playing of Xbox, he decided that he wanted said Xbox because apparently he has watched way too much news in this era because I want it, and so you should just give it to me. I'm not going to work for it, and I'm not going to pay you, but you should give it to me.
He just wants the Xbox.
Apparently the man decided that he wasn't going to do that, at which point Mr. Grimes became enraged and stabbed him with his samurai sword.
Whoa.
Okay.
Turn it up a notch.
I have a few questions here. One, why is a 35-year-old man so obsessed with an Xbox? Like, if it was a 16-year-old kid, I get it. You're hogging the controller. I mean, we all did that. GoldenEye. How many fights were started because you were hogging the GoldenEye? I get it. More of my questions come into the sword. All right, so he is homeless. It says that in the story. He had a samurai sword. That means one of two things are the case. Either he stole the samurai sword from inside the dwelling that he was in, or he came to his friend's house going all Crouching Tiger, Hidden Hobo, and went a Jimmy Chop right with the samurai sword. And in my version of the story, that's the way that went down.
That's 100%.
He went full West Virginia ninja, walking down the street going, don't be ninja, nobody don't need ninja. This is not a game. I'll be trying this on your kids or your dogs. Jimmy sword.
Yeah, I can't. I think that's how that went down.
I swear to you, by the next torture ticket we do, I want it to be Tank has to go downtown with a cardboard sword and go Judy sword to random people.
I think that's a good way to get my keister kicked.
No doubt, which is 100%. I mean, I'll be there.
Wow.
And trust me, I'd let them get their pound of flesh. Mm-hmm. And then, I mean, I'd save you eventually.
But he's homeless.
Yeah.
So what's he going to do with it, with the Xbox? That's the question.
Then maybe he was planning on prison wilding it like your guy.
I guess.
I mean, or maybe there is a different monetary system in the houseless community. I have an Xbox and a samurai sword, which means I am your leader.
Means he can have anything he wants, I guess. Although, never mind. That's going nowhere good.
No good.
Really quickly.
See, that's called knowing your own limitations.
Yeah.
Because Tank and I often just look at things and go, we should not do that. But what we did do is do crimes a little early so we can dedicate a full segment to the quarterbacks, which they deserve.
Quarterback ranking coming up next with Flostradamus. Jeremy Greene here on ESPN Asheville.
Now, sometimes it don't always work for an injury, but it practice makes it perfect.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
With sunshine today and a light breeze up from the south and southeast, the high should approach 54. The temperatures will cool quickly tonight with a clear sky, light winds, and an overnight low eventually dropping down to 29. The high tomorrow near 59 under sunshine. A little bit warmer for Thursday with an increase in cloud cover to high of 64. Showers will pop up on Thursday night and then taper off early on Friday, and then a clearing trend for Friday afternoon with a high in the mid-50s. I'm Jeff Marr from the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. Don't miss huge savings on better sleep during Mattress Firm's President's Day sale. For a limited time, shop in store to score a Sleepy's Queen mattress for only $89.99. That's over 60% off and the lowest price ever. So hurry in today. This deal is only here while supplies last.
What's better than winning a prize on a Multiply the Cash scratch-off?
Hello? Well, I guess I'd say probably...
Winning every single prize. What's better than winning every single prize?
I can't think
Winning every prize times 2 with the Win-All Doubler.
Well, you don't need me here, so I'm going to go pick up a scratch-off.
New Multiply the Cash from the North Carolina Education Lottery with a chance to win every prize doubled. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.77 to 4.71. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
The free iHeartRadio app has over 100 original stations like 24/7 Comedy.
If they were really donut holes, the bag would be empty.
When you need to laugh, just open the free iHeartRadio app and search Comedy.
Should we call someone? I'm like, no, that's his face.
iHeartRadio. Free never sounded so good.
My name is DeMar Hamlin. I play for the Buffalo Bills, and I play safety. It's American Heart Month. As the national ambassador for Nation of Lifesavers, I'm joining the American Heart Association on its 100th birthday to encourage you to learn CPR, because together we can save lives. Nearly 3 out of 4 cardiac arrests that don't happen in hospitals happen in homes. If the time comes, be ready. Join me to ensure everyone has the chance to live longer, healthier lives. Visit heart.org/nation.
The Ingles 2024 Southern Conference Downtown Dribble and Kids Fest, presented by Champion Credit Union, will be held Saturday, March 9th, 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. at the Roger McGuire Green at Pack Square Park. The Downtown Dribble will feature interactive games, inflatables, pep bands, cheerleaders, and a parade. Each participant will receive a basketball, Downtown Dribble t-shirt, and a ticket to the noon session quarterfinal basketball games. Check-in will begin at 9:30 a.m. at Roger McGuire Green. To register, visit downtowndribble.eventbrite.com.
Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics have teamed up under new ownership by an Asheville native to better serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at the best price. Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics can customize whatever you, your team, business, or local group may need through high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving right here in Asheville. Free personal delivery within Buncombe County and a reduced delivery fee anywhere in Western North Carolina. Visit ShowtimeSportsAVL.com and MountainGraphicsAVL.com. Your one-stop custom apparel shops.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at ClarissaSellsWNC.com. And did I mention that Clarissa Sells WNC loves teachers? We love teachers so much, we're giving back 25% of our commission at closing. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or ClarissaSellsWNC@gmail.com.
The Sportsocracy.
That is some good, clean family fun there, eh, Cot?
It is ESPN Asheville. It is your Draftmas home for all things leading up to the NFL Combine coming up next week in Indianapolis, Indiana.
We're leaving on a jet plane. Gonna see some 40 times. That
is still the plan. We're planning to give you all the best coverage from the road in Indianapolis next week. More details coming on that as we get closer to the event. Flostradamus's quarterback class of 2024. This is your ranking, Jeremy. How you see this class. It's been long talked about that Caleb Williams is at the top of the class and that Drake Maye is 1B.
So do you want to start at the bottom or the top?
Let's start at the top.
So we're not going Drake here. We usually go started from the bottom. Now we're here.
No, I think we do. We should do the opposite. We should start at the top because your spiciest take is the number one quarterback in the 2024 NFL draft class is
Jayden Daniels.
Really?
I like him a lot. And I think he's a modern day NFL quarterback because he's plus in practically everything. The biggest knock on him is he's a little thin, but he's super tall. I don't have really a knock on him other than he played in kind of a gimmicky offense and he had 2 really elite receivers. Everybody talks about, he wasn't that good at Arizona State. Nobody would have been. It was with Herman Edwards with a program that was on fire. Of course he struggled there. As soon as he was well coached, he was a Heisman Trophy winner. And he was good last year. This wasn't a one-off. If I had to bet, all right, so this is a little biased because I do think Caleb Williams is going 1. I do think Drake Maye is going 2. And I'll just go ahead and tell you, Drake Maye is my 2, Caleb Williams is my 3. I don't see Caleb Williams the way a lot of the rest of you do. I mean, he's still got a first-round grade for me. He's my 15th overall prospect. He's an 8.3. If you want a point of reference there, that's a full point behind Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence was a 9.3.
Mm-hmm.
He's looked at the same way. He shouldn't be. He shouldn't be. Jayden Daniels played against elite competition in the SEC. He was good every single week. Drake Maye played against less than ideal competition, but his good was phenomenal. Caleb Williams was the biggest bully I think I've ever seen in my life because he liked to beat the crap out of bad teams. Then a good team would come in, and all of a sudden he looked like a 5th rounder. Every single time. There is not one instance where he played a top 25 defense and did not regress to such a point that it gave me a steady bit of angina in my chest watching him going, some team's going to draft him like he's the savior of the franchise, and you better be set up like the Bears. The Bears are the only spot I like. He goes to Washington, I'll bet you anything you want. Bust. Oh, he says, I don't want to play in Chicago, which would be dumb. But let's say that happens. He winds up in Washington with Cliff Kingsbury behind that offensive line, and you have nothing but second-round picks to put around him. Good luck with that.
No.
It's going to look strikingly similar to what you saw out of Sam Howell.
Mm-hmm.
A guy running for his life, and I'm just not sure he has the emotional quotient to deal with the NFL, especially not having a franchise put everything on him. You are our savior. You are the guy that's going to break the curse for the Bears. You're the guy that's going to break the quarterback curse with the Commanders. I'm not sure he's ready for that. Chicago's a way better landing spot. And if he proves me wrong, that's where I would say he does it. But I don't think it's going to happen in a year.
I see a lot of analysis on him of people pointing out that one of his best abilities is the ability to create plays when there's nothing there. Do you see Caleb as first off, is he that guy? And
No.
Second off, is he better at that than Jayden Daniels?
No.
I don't think so either.
No, the problem I have with Caleb Williams is a lot of what he did that was special was off schedule. It was he hung in the pocket too long. He missed the initial read. And then he had this weird ability against god-awful defenses to make that superhero play. And I feel like people are seeing what they want to see because they're looking at that going, oh, he's Pat Mahomes. And they're not figuring out, well, you missed the 1 and the 2. So you saved yourself by bailing it out with the 3, and you made it look way harder than it was. I thought that a lot with him. I don't buy it, and I'm not going to buy it. Like I said, I think Chicago is his best landing spot. Jayden Daniels, I don't really care where he goes. I really don't. I would like it to not be New England. I would love him with the Raiders. That's low-key where I really want him to be. But I'm not going to be that scared anywhere. Because for some reason, I feel like the reigning Heisman Trophy winner has less expectations than the other two.
Yes, he does.
Which I don't remember a time that I could say that. Because usually, especially in the last 10 years, Heisman Trophy winners get really stupid excised expectations because a lot of people don't understand that college and the NFL are different, but they're getting closer.
Mm-hmm.
Every single year. 10 years ago, I wouldn't have had Jayden Daniels as a first 2 days pick. Now, I think he's going to fall slightly because you said earlier, you can't see a path that quarterbacks don't go 1, 2, 3. I can. I can because I think a team's going to fall in love with Marvin Harrison Jr. or a team's going to fall in love with Joe Alt. And those guys are going to go ahead of a quarterback. Because when brass tacks come down to it, I think New England's going to look at this and go, we're better suited not taking a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if they trade out, you could be right. If you told me Chicago stays at 1, Washington stays at 2, New England stays at 3, I don't see a path that they all 3 take quarterback. You're just asking too much.
Mm-hmm.
Because you got to understand, that third team has to buy into all 3 of them. The chances of that happening are not real high.
What are the chances that your guys left? Or what are the chances that you tell everybody that your guy was left because you felt the pressure, you had to get a quarterback because that's what people do?
I don't think Washington or New England are taking a quarterback just to take a quarterback. New England would be involved in vets or giving a guy a shot because they know, we're in the AFC. Find me a team in the AFC that they're better than right now. Oh, wait. There's not one, and there's not going to be one. I don't care who your quarterback is.
Yep. All right, Jayden Daniels 1.
Yep.
Drake Maye 2.
Yep.
Caleb Williams 3.
Yep.
And then what?
J.J. McCarthy's 4. And he's a 7.5. That's almost a full point behind Drake Maye and Caleb Williams. It is a full point behind Jayden Daniels.
I was going to say, is it all that close to you?
No.
It's not to me.
But
either.
he's clearly ahead of Penix and Bo Nix.
If I had to put my money on one quarterback outside of the top 3,
it's McCarthy. It's
becoming a great quarterback in this league, it's McCarthy.
And it's not close.
Mm-hmm.
And it's straight up not close. I didn't see enough of it, which has been the knock on him the whole time. And I don't know that I've ever seen a player that had more discrepancy in how they were viewed. Because there are some people that think it's absolutely insane to be talking about him this high.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's insane. I also would be remiss if I didn't look at the fact that McCarthy threw 330 passes this year. Do you know how many Jayden Daniels threw?
550.
332.
Okay. It's pretty close.
It's closer than people think. He actually threw one more pass. Now, that was in 2 more games.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a little bit biased. But it's not. He never threw more than 333 passes in a year, which is, it's not a ton. But, man, he was good. He was good in the intermediate. He was really good with no pressure. And I think that's what scares people is the gigantic drop-off. His PFF grade was a 90 with no pressure. It was a 72.9 with it. That's not, oh, good Lord, terrifying. It is a little scary because he was behind a tremendous offensive line. He's a lottery ticket. That's the best way I can say it. He is a lottery ticket. The other thing that would scare me to death is his 3 best games last year were against East Carolina, UNLV, and Michigan State, and Purdue.
Mm-hmm.
4 teams that had absolutely no shot of competing with you. And he was pretty good against Washington, who defensively was bad.
I feel like he gets a raw deal because of the Michigan run-heavy scheme.
He does.
They came in and they pounded the ball. Hell, that Penn State game that they ran the ball 38 times or whatever it was, he wasn't needed to show off the arm.
No,
and I think that's a plus for him.
It's going to make him a significant amount of money. It also tells me that he is less prepared than any quarterback in this class because you're coming into something that you're not familiar with. Now, he did play a more traditional NFL type of system, so I think he's got some preparedness there. I was a little shocked he didn't come back because I think he could have clearly been the number 1 quarterback in the class next year if he came back with Sharon Moore and aired it out more. But he chose to leave, and he will probably be the most – he'll be the lightning rod of this class because there's going to be so much disagreement. You're going to have some people that think he belongs in the 3rd round. Some people believe he belongs in the top 10. I'm in dead the middle of that. I think he's a 2nd round pick. I got a 2nd round grade on him.
All right, J.J. McCarthy is the clear 4. How about number 5?
Michael Penix Jr. I have him ahead of Bo Nix because I think his upside is a little bit higher. I would say his floor is a little bit lower, but not by much.
Mm-hmm.
His ceiling is significantly higher than his floor is lower.
I couldn't have him on my board, I don't think.
Medical?
Because of the medical.
Well, that's hard to say because you got to get the doctors.
But if I'm picking in the same slot, I'm not
he
even
could fall to the 3rd
him.
round. He could fall to the 3rd round. That's the thing you have to look at.
If I'm taking a quarterback at the early stage of the 2nd round and him and Bo Nix are there, I'm going Bo Nix.
I'm not. I'll go Michael Penix. I'll ride the Lightning. Because I think if I put him in the right situation, he's got a big enough arm that I think he could throw me out of some things. One of my favorite builds is New England takes Marvin Harrison Jr. at 3 and then takes Michael Penix to begin the 2nd round. Or trades back up to the 1st round to get the 5th-year option year. I like that better than Drake Maye and A.D. Mitchell or Xavier Worthy or Ladd McConkey.
I also can't get away from I saw Oregon-Washington twice, and in both games I came away thinking Bo Nix was the better quarterback.
You know, it's funny because I never did.
Really?
No.
Whoa. Okay.
Which team had a better defense? He was throwing on air against Washington. Sweet. You don't do that in the NFL.
Yeah. Okay.
I look at Bo Nix and go, your ceiling is Baker Mayfield and your floor is Baker Mayfield. Awesome. I'm good. You're a third-round pick to me. I have a 7.0 grade on Bo Nix, a 7.2 on Michael Penix.
All right, and the best of the rest?
It's so gnarly. And I think the one that I may be a little too low on is Michael Pratt. I probably should have him at 7. To me, they're all birds of the same feather. So at 7, I have Sam Hartman. I have Jordan Travis at 8, Michael Pratt at 9, Spencer Rattler at 10, Talia Tagovailoa at 11. And that's the only 11 draftable quarterbacks I have. There's not another one on the board. I'm good.
Yeah.
If you use a draft pick on them, I'm good. And I'll be honest with you, I don't love using a draft pick on any of the bottom 5. Mm-hmm. And Sam Hartman, the more I watch the Senior Bowl tape, the more I want to push him down. I'm just not touching any of them. I would actually say Tagovailoa has the highest ceiling, but he has a floor that is mortifying. If I can get him as a priority undrafted free agent, I'm okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I have 7th-round grades on almost all of them. Jordan Travis is the wild card. He turns his back to the line way too much. Sam Hartman played in a gimmicky offense in college at Wake Forest. You're not going to get away with that in the NFL. That long mesh point. Michael Pratt, I see long-term backup. Spencer Rattler, there's enough there that I see how a team's going to get conned into it. It's also going to be about 4 rounds too high. I don't think he makes it out of day 2, which means he would be nowhere near a team of mine.
Okay.
And before anybody asks, no, I don't have Joe Milton on the board, and no, I won't have Joe Milton on the board. Because as Red Sea pointed out, one of his favorite lines of mine, that feller got a cannon. He couldn't hit the broadside of the Atlantic Ocean.
The super seniors, they are very interesting to me as we look to the 2024 class. Michael Penix Jr., Bo Nix, Sam Hartman. To me, it's that little group of guys that they're older than everybody else, so they've got that kind of Kenny Pickett feel to them. And so their IQ is the best thing that people can talk about. But there are major red flags with all of them.
Hartman and Travis are 2 guys that I'd like to have in the room with absolutely no intention of them ever making it to a field.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think they're both good in the room. But, man, it was so obvious in Mobile of the difference between Penix and Nix to Hartman, who to me was the 3rd best quarterback down there. It is light years between the 3.
You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville. Take a quick break. When we come back, Jeremy's going to be mad.
Are you a business owner, CEO, or responsible for marketing? If you are, iHeartMedia can help you reach your goals and find new customers. We reach more consumers in your target area than anyone else, and we can give you access to those potential customers more cost-effectively across radio, digital, podcasting, and social. We'd love to show you how iHeartMedia can work for you. Get started today at iHeartAdvertising.com. That's iHeartAdvertising.com.
Don't believe me, believe the Better Business Bureau. 5 stars for GiveMeTheVin.com. The rest of them are 1 stars. America's best car buyer, GiveMeTheVin.com.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics have teamed up under new ownership by an Asheville native to better serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at the best price. Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics can customize whatever you, your team, business, or local group may need through high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving right here in Asheville. Free personal delivery within Buncombe County and a reduced delivery fee anywhere in Western North Carolina. Visit ShowtimeSportsAVL.com and MountainGraphicsAVL.com. Your one-stop custom apparel shops.
Sick and tired of achy joints? Dread the idea of surgery?
You need to call QC Kinetics today. Listen, the state of healthcare is always changing. The old ideas like steroids and surgery are no longer your only options. Regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics is transforming lives with innovative, non-surgical, drug-free treatments that deliver lasting results. Knee pain, back pain, shoulder pain from arthritis or injury? Don't let this pain keep you from living your best life. QC Kinetics advanced state-of-the-art treatments harness and direct your body's natural ability to restore and repair damaged joint tissue. This is a revolutionary approach that can get you long-term relief with no downtime. Make 2024 the year you reclaim your mobility, reclaim your independence. Walk and run and play and live without the danger and trauma of surgery and without harmful drugs. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. Phone 828-333-9517 in Asheville and in Greenville.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. Download our free app on Google Play or the App Store. Type in Asheville Home Search. You'll be able to connect with our team and see all the available homes for sale in our area. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
We're back counting down to kickoff. Let's look at today's 3 keys to premium pre-gaming with Beast Unleashed, presented by Monster Brewing. Number 1, beat the heat.
Unleash the beast with bold, familiar flavors, 0 caffeine, and 0 sugar.
Number 2, running the option.
There's 4 to choose from: White Haze, Peach Perfect, Scary Berries, and my personal favorite, Mean Green.
And number 3, at 6% ABV, Max Protect.
Always drink responsibly, and you must be 21 or over.
Beast Unleashed, available at your local retailer.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Dirty Turkish shark back flat.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore.
Shark back flat.
Let the hate flow through you.
You know, we don't talk a lot of NBA on this show, and there's a pretty simple reason why, because it's turned into a big old circus. And this weekend was really proof positive of how bad it was. If you didn't catch the NBA All-Star game, let me give you a couple little stats. First of all, the score was 211-186. That sounds like a barn burner, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The East shot 146 shots. 97 of them were three-pointers.
Whoa.
97. They were 42 of 97 from 3. They had 74 points in the paint. I don't know how good you are at math, but they shot a real high percentage because nobody played any defense. Let me ask you another question. How many fouls do you think there were in the entire game?
7.
You're too high. It's 3.
Oh.
The West had 2. The East had 1.
Oh, boy.
You also had a grand total of 2 blocks for the East, or for the West, 1 for the East. This is one of those things that needs to go away because all it does is really hammer home. You don't care. You want us to spend our money on a product where you can't even be bothered to play 82 games a week, 82 games a year. We live in a small market. The Charlotte Hornets get load managed more than any team in the NBA. A lot of teams come to town with stars, but weird. We get to see the B team. And it shouldn't be that shocking that your sport is completely eroded to the point that 5.5 million people watched your All-Star game. This used to be one of the biggest events on your calendar. And it all ties back to that big bug named Adam Silver, who's doing his best to destroy your league. And he's doing a pretty good job of it. After Sunday, I actually think you're more irrelevant than I did 4 days ago. And I can't even say I'm mad. I want to thank you for making sure I don't have to pay attention to your irrelevant sport. I'm not mad.
Absolutely terrible. It's a terrible display. And again, yes, why do you think I should care? Because you don't?
No,
you clearly don't care.
It was pathetic. The dunk contest was pathetic. You had G-Leaguers in the dunk contest.
Ugh.
It was just a joke from absolute pillar to post. But here's what's not a joke. We're almost here. If you were so inclined, this will be the last All-Star game that you're not able to wager here in the state of North Carolina because it's coming. DraftKings Sportsbook, one of America's top-rated sportsbook apps, is coming here. you'll be able to play same-game parlays, money lines, prop bets, odds boosts, live betting, all the things that we tell you every single week. If you don't know what it is, we're going to tell you what it is. And it's all coming here on March 11th. They also have social betting groups, so you can call your friends on their wagers because you put them in this social betting group, and so you can all see. New customers, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Bet on all your favorite sports once we go live. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook, coming to North Carolina on March 11th. Gambling problem? Call 877-1855-43 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus, North Carolina only. Eligibility restrictions apply. Subject to regulatory licensing requirements. See terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook/NC.
Join us back here in the Sportsocracy tomorrow at noon on ESPN Asheville. Have a great evening.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
With sunshine today and a light breeze up from the south and southeast, the high should approach 54, and the temperatures will cool quickly tonight with a clear sky, light winds, and an overnight low eventually dropping down to 29. The high tomorrow near 59 under sunshine. A little bit warmer for Thursday with an increase in cloud cover to high of 64. Showers will pop up on Thursday night and then taper off early on Friday, and then a clearing trend for Friday afternoon with a high in the mid-50s. I'm Jeff Marr from the Weather Channel.
With your choice of select sandwich, nugs, fries, and a drink, Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag is your go-to. Your nugget wingman. Your hot and crispy fried co-pilot.
Just like us. We're like the bag boys.
What?
Bag boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when we bring your food?
For a deal you can count on, bet on Biggie and choose wisely. Choose Wendy's.
Bag boys.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Includes choice of JVC or crispy chicken sandwich with 4-piece nugs, junior fry, and small soft drink. Third-party delivery pricing may be higher.
This is Carolina basketball.
2-on-1. Baycott finishes the transition hammer. R.J. Davis, he's going to try a quick three. Yes, from the right sideline.
On the Tar Heels Sports Network.
Ends up to Baycott, and he gets the run out. Two-handed flush. Carolina, it's Davis. He's fouled, and give him it.
This is your radio home for the Tar Heels.
Asheville's home for the Tar Heels is ESPN Asheville.
From the Ingalls Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.